Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. On today's program, shall I say live program, we are here to discuss Star Wars Episode 9 and the controversies surrounding it. Joining me tonight is my lovely co-host for the night, that being Maddie.
Hi.
So, where do we begin with this? Do we start with the leaks?
Oh my God. You mean the ones that were true?
Yeah. Well, let's see here. So I found a link on Reddit. Let me see. I will pull it up here. Oh, great. I have to figure out how to do the screen share. Oh, there it is. Okay.
It's remarkably easy screen sharing on this thing. You wouldn't think it would be, but it is.
All right, let's try this out here. Oh, okay, here we go. There we go. Yay. All right.
I'll be right back. Those are my groceries. Sorry about this.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go get your groceries. So, as many of you probably know or have probably guessed, apparently I scared the fuck out of Cynic. I hope I'm not too loud for you. But anyways, before I get off tangent, so I'm sure many of you probably know that there were some plot leaks that came out about a few months ago. Both Doomcock and Midnight's Edge are two channels that I know of that have covered these spoiler leaks. And this was months back. And it turns out that a lot of these leaks that they've covered is true. Now, of course, those of you that should know, or at least have seen my title, should know that there will be spoilers to the Rise of Skywalker. So if you absolutely do not want to know what happens in this movie, well, you've come to the wrong place, just to forewarn you. So one of the leaks that turned out to be 100% true was this whole MacGuffin search to find Darth Vader's Wayfinder. And I know the leak about the ending turned out to be true as well. And I found the subreddit Star Wars leaks, which I've been checking out yesterday. And there's been leaked images from, as many of you probably know, the premiere was yesterday. So the subreddit Star Wars leaks has been pretty buzzing yesterday with some of the images that have been released. So there was an image of Palpatine, which, dear fucking God, I'll never be able to get that image out of my head now. It's forever ingrained in my brain. And then we also got a leaked image of Luke and Leia's lightsabers, which obviously was in the leak because, as it turns out, Rey was going to bury these two lightsabers. And then not long after that, there was a leak of the image from the very end of the movie of Rey and BB-8 looking at the twin suns on Tatooine. Oh my God. Oh, and another thing I mentioned, well, I guess I will save that for a later part of the stream, but I figured we might as well just go over the leaks. I guess I'll just wait for Maddie to get back. I'm not even sure how to handle this, but anyways, I hope you all are doing well. And so, where do I go from here? So let's just go over some of these leaks, shall we? So I see this post here. It says, some more leaks from another Twitter user who went to the premiere. The username is Call Me Ben Swallow. Here's what they've said so far. We'll be editing as they post more. Some more confirmation that yes, Kylo dies after his redemption. Kylo revives Rey. They smile at each other. She says, oh, okay, I can't. Welcome back. You caught me in the midst of having a breakdown over here, and I just started the goddamn stream.
Right?
Ugh.
Yeah.
So she says Ben, and they kiss. Kylo disappears when Luke, or like Luke when he dies, they do not say, I love you. Oh, so something to mention about that particular leak. I don't know if you follow anyone in this Fandom Menace, but I know of one person in particular that I'm subscribed to, goes by Odin at Odin's Movie Blogs.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned, because he went to the screening yesterday with a friend of his, and when it got to this scene, I shit you not, according to him, he said that, and this is a press screening, that this is just entirely critics. Somebody in the audience laughed out loud at this scene.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Functional. Oh, are you okay? So, are you actually sick, or are you sick of seeing these fucking bad leaks? Like, okay. So, yeah, that right there speaks volumes. Like, and this is a critic screening.
Yeah.
You know, the same very people who have been praising Disney Star Wars are laughing at unintentionally bad scenes.
Yep. Or unironically bad scenes. So let's face it, they thought that this was going to be their coup de grace, and it wound up being their bowl of crap.
Hey, Functional, did you want to join? I think you're a fellow Star Wars fan. Because we need to share the pain. All right. So where were we? Okay. Go ahead and talk, Maddie. I'll send the link.
Yeah, I was watching online as everything was unfolding, as everybody was, leaking the screen caps and from the movie and all this, and people are going, oh my God, some people actually want to watch the movie, and I kept going, unless it's your job, why? I mean, I personally am not going to watch it until it comes out on, for legal purposes, till it comes out on Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, or what have you, because I don't pirate stuff. Okay.
Oh God, I forgot that Functional's not. Oops, I got to get on Discord. I'm just such a damn boomer after all. Oh, crap.
It's getting to the point where nobody wants to be on Twitter.
I know. Right?
You can't blame them either.
No shit, right? Wait a minute. How the fuck do I send a message? I see group DM. Oh, wait, here we go. So. Dang it. You need to be friends with someone, right?
Or be in the same Discord.
Okay. Oh, duh. Right. Now I just got to find out where Functional is. And I think he might be. I'm having a monkey moment. Don't mind me.
Oh my God. It's just, I watched it. I saw it coming from the last Mary Sue, or as I like to call her now, Mary Sue. It's going to be a new term. I swear to God, my Maddieism is going to catch on sooner or later.
I can't. Murray.
Mary Sue. Instead of Mary, it's Mary Sue. There you go. Because, she is one. She's like the biggest one. And everybody will argue with you. I've argued with so many people left and right. And it's like, no, you don't understand. Okay, if you don't get what I'm trying to say, if you don't understand what I mean when I tell you that she's a damn Mary Sue, the problem is you, not me. Because first of all, I write short stories and I'm working on a novel and things of that nature. And there's certain things that have to be done.
Oh, there's Functional.
You can't give this much to a character and not have them struggle to achieve it. and everything's just been given to to this woman, and I'm like, I can't like her. She doesn't have a personality. All she has is every single force power ever inherent for no apparent reason.
Yeah. Hi guys, ladies.
Hi, Carano. Oh, hey, you got an icon to like good Disney Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh,
I've been enjoying. I have
can
not
gush so hard.
I have not seen the new Mandalorian episode, and I probably won't get to
Won't
watch
say
it
anything.
tomorrow. Okay, I've
Don't
been
worry.
hearing. I've
I'm
been
not
hearing
a-
good things.
I'm not a spoiler person.
Okay, good. I've been
Except when it comes to this.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because I'm not going to see it anyway, so I
know,
really
sure,
don't care. And this is coming from someone who, like I said in chat, I have like 300 novels, a couple hundred comic books. Between me and Elwin, we have like 24 lightsabers. Like, we're huge Star Wars fans, and this stuff is just so far removed from Star Wars. It's that's why I made the sicky faces.
Yeah.
I have been bitching about these damn plot leaks for the past couple days. My husband will not hear the end of it. You know, because he's a fellow Star Wars fan like myself, and I was one of the many who was excited to see The Force Awakens. Yeah. And it appears I wasn't the only one that had not a very good feeling about it. Like, I got the Mary Sue vibes from Rey automatically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even before I saw the film, I had a lot more apprehensions than I would for most things, because I think J.J. Abrams is a complete hack.
Yeah.
I think he's a terrible director. He's way overrated. Everything he's touched so far, I've really disliked and have deconstructed ad nauseum. It wasn't that bad, all things considered, because like most people have pointed out, it's, a remake of the first, and it was good, but not this new stuff.
I did a reaction to the last The Last Jedi, and I live tweeted it when I finally got around to watching it. Took the live tweet, turned them into a video, and as soon as I uploaded it to YouTube, Disney had blocked it in all countries, so I had to upload it to BitChute instead.
Oh,
of course.
Okay, so
and what?
So full disclaimer, I have not seen The Last Jedi, and all I can say is that with everything that people have been saying about it, I'm thinking, shit, I just dodged a bullet.
It's bad when it gets to that moment in the movie where she force pulls herself onto the ship. And what I did for the edit part for that scene of the movie was superimpose the theme from the original Superman motion picture over it. Because that's what it reminded me of. Because I'm watching her and I'm like, oh my God, da 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 da. Give her a cape. Everybody's calling her Leia Poppins. I'm like, no, she's Super Leia. I don't know where this came from.
I saw that scene and I was like, what the fuck?
And it's so out of place and so random. Not once between the original trilogy till now do we have any inclination that Leia has been working on her force sensitivity or any of these skills.
It's like from all the friends that I've spoken to, she got married to Han, she had twins, she had to raise a twin, she was still ahead of the rebellion, she was still a diplomat, she received some training from her brother, but not intense enough training to be called a Jedi. So
no, not at all.
The hell did she get the Super Leia power from to pull herself back onto the ship?
Yeah, who the hell? I mean, they threw out all that EU stuff, so there wasn't any of that lightsaber training, which she was actually kind of proficient. She was no, Jedi Knight, but she was proficient with the lightsaber. She had some rudimentary ability to become more empathetic through the Force and get feelings and some occasionally, pushing and pulling. But again, nowhere near the level of a Jedi Knight or even a Padawan. And for them to say, okay, well, all this is now thrown out, except if we directly reference it. But then we'll just, have her Super Leia back onto the ship. Like, what?
Oh, so Keith Hamilton says, Last Jedi, worst Star Wars ever. Hold My Beer says, Rise of Skywalker. And I know that when I saw Odin doing Odin's movie blog, doing his live stream, going over the spoilers, he legit said, this is worse than The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Last Jedi was the last one, right? Like
yeah,
one?
episode
Okay.
8, yeah.
I don't remember the names because out of sight, out of mind. Like, just try to forget that they ever happened. I'll live with my books. Thank you.
Right. Well, another thing I was thinking of is that because we know critics already hate The Last Jedi, or not The Last Jedi. I wish they hated The Last Jedi, but.
Right. I think we all do at this point.
I know, right? But it's like, so it's like, yeah, critics hate The Rise of Skywalker. So it's inevitable that when the movie opens up to the masses, it's the backlash is going to be massive.
Wow. So the critics are already negatively favoring this?
It's when I was telling Maddie this morning when I was getting up to go to work, and I usually have time to, just kick back before I leave for work. So I pulled up my Twitter, and there's some people that I follow in the Fandom Menace that posted screenshots of the Rotten Tomatoes critic score was at 56%.
Yeah.
Wow, because when the fans and the critics come together on something, oh wow, maybe they'll get the message, because with the sheer overwhelm gushing from the community from Mandalorian, and then the crushing defeat of The Last Jedi? No. Rise of Skywalker. Wow, that could turn it around. And I still maintain that the reason why Mandalorian is so good is Jon Favreau is an avid Star Wars fan. He grew up with the property, and not even Kathleen Kennedy has the power to supersede his decisions when he's got a pet project like this. So it both makes me excited and still a little bit fearful of what might happen with Kenobi.
Yeah.
Because Kenobi has a lot of potential. There's a lot of stuff that wasn't even covered in the EU of what happened between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Yeah.
And if we get someone like a Favreau who really isn't going to be touched by Kennedy's Midas poop touch.
Right?
Oh, wow. 58.
Yep.
Out of 200. Oh, my God. That's not good.
And the last time
it's in the 50s on Metacritic, too.
Yep. And the last time I checked, the top critic score was like 17%. Actually, let me see if top critics.
Yeah, she does Serenity. However, Favreau's just too big. He's too big. This is his pet project, and what's amazing is they can still reference things that go on in the new trilogy, in the prequel trilogy, in the cartoons and stuff. They can reference these things, and they're good references. Like it's not really a spoiler, but we all know that what's his name was in the last episode, the comedian Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
He references Gungans. That was cute. That was a cute reference, because it wasn't like, well, I don't know. It was just cute.
Well, they even referenced about how stormtroopers can't shoot.
Yeah.
That's someone who pays attention to details.
I was an Imperial sharpshooter, you dick. I was just like, yes, this is great.
Yeah, that's like the last time I had gone to Dragon Con and went up to the 501st, I was kind of poking fun at him. And I said, what's with all those missed shots? Because, well, if we actually we were told to miss, otherwise there'd be no trilogy.
Well, and
no, it's the military-industrial complex. They have to waste ammunition to justify their spending. Sorry, it's a bad joke.
Well, and then another thing to add to what Serenity was saying. So Midnight's Edge did a video a while back where they basically said, rumor has it Kathleen Kennedy is all but out the door right now.
Oh, I hope so.
This might cinch that. This might really cinch it.
If this movie fails, if this movie severely underperforms, I think she's done.
So let's do our predictions. Just the three of us, just off the cuff. I'm giving the audience score maybe a 26% by the end of the weekend, by Sunday.
Probably 20.
For the
Audience score.
See, this is the thing, though. I'm wondering if we're going to have another Captain Marvel incident, because I don't know if you guys seen back when Captain Marvel came out, the shady shit that was happening with Rotten Tomatoes with the audience score.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So something tells me that we're going to see a bunch of reviews on the audience score side get deleted, and that score possibly go up.
That's a possibility.
That's just my prediction. But yeah, I'd say I think this is absolutely going to rank lower on the audience score, like lower than The Last Jedi.
And if I bring that up.
Yeah. Because there was too much crap that they pulled with the Captain Marvel movie that, it made people pay attention to what was going on. And that's why I've never used and never liked using Rotten Tomatoes. I've always gone to Metacritic. It just became obvious with Rotten Tomatoes at that point when Captain Marvel came out that, yeah, they doctor crap and how far left they lean according to, what movies out there is supposed to be a favorite.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, that's why I'm really surprised that the critic score here is not as high as The Last Jedi, because Rey...
Last Jedi had like a 95 or something.
Well, yeah, because, the leaks state that, Rey wins in the end, and she's like seriously OP'd as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, you got a strong whammon. Why are you guys not giving it a higher score? I think that makes them misogynists, don't you think?
Even though I forget the character name, the drop trooper in Mandalorian, she's a badass chick, and I like that character. She is good.
Wait, which one?
Hold on, I'm bringing it up. I forget her name.
Because I know Cara Dune. You're talking about
Cara Dune.
Cara Dune, yeah.
What was the actress's name?
Oh, it was Gina Carano?
Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah. I dug her. Well, you know what's funny is that I've seen some people say, oh my God, it's like episode 4 is woke. And I'm like, seriously? Just because, there's a chick that happens to be a shooter.
See, that's what I tried to explain to one of my friends long ago when we were discussing like The Flash and other CW shows before Stupid Girl and Bat Flop. I couldn't get past the pilot. I sat with Batwoman and said, I am going to review this series. Got through the pilot and went, this is a load of shit. I actually have a video on my Geek channel breaking down the pilot, and I tried to watch the second episode, and 10 minutes into it, my brain's going, if you continue, I will shut down. This is too stupid even for you to watch.
Well, no. Here's what got me about episode 4 that I'm just baffled that people would say that there's some woke elements to it. It's like, you have something that you really don't see often in Hollywood anymore as in terms of their products, and that's men and women working together.
Yeah.
I did not see anything about men being torn down to prop up women. You had men and women working side by side.
Yeah. Well, my whole theory is this. If you go into something explicitly looking for a certain something in this case, any little hint that could give you, any kind of belief that it's going woke, then you're going to say such and such went woke.
Yeah, and you have those rage peddlers on YouTube who will dig right into that and be like, well, look at how Rey's treating the bumbling fool Finn. And it's sort of like, yeah, but then you have maybe he's just a bumbling fool. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's a male, she's a female.
Yeah.
Because look at not Cassian, the other dude, the good pilot.
Oh, Poe.
Poe. Look at Poe. He's a very capable, strong leader. And then, just to juxtapose that in the second film, he's a complete bumbling fool again.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson is even worse than JJ. Oh my God.
Who gets chastised by Admiral Gender Studies.
For no reason. He has proven time and time again. He's one of their best pilots. He's a seasoned battle commander. He's a frontline warrior. He knows how to do this stuff. And nothing about the plot had any consistency to begin with, but just the way that they treat the characters that were already established that weren't that bad. All things considered, the characters in the first one weren't that bad. Even though Rey was a Mary Sue and, Finn was a bumbling stormtrooper, they weren't that bad. But in the second one, they just treats all the characters like such shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's the whole thing with this whole trilogy is it's one big missed opportunity, and I'm not talking about Rey. Yeah. They could have had an opportunity to have organically placed diversity, a strong story, and one hell of a character arc by putting Finn at the forefront.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I could get behind that.
Because, if you see his story started with promise, and you're like, okay, so he left this, he sees the bullshit he's got to go through, he's deserted, he's joining the rebellion, and it's like, all you've got to do is finish writing that story and have him go the path of the Jedi, and you have one hell of a trilogy on your hands. Mary Sue.
And I would even include some of the those kinds of tones from the extended universe, from the novels, and outright sort of show that the Empire, and in this case the First Order, is very racist. Non-humans were treated like shit in the EU, in the extended universe. The Empire treated them, any alien species, like. And you could use that as an analogy to modern times, but not be heavy-handed with their, Whammons and black folk and Hispanics. Well, maybe, in this kind of a future setting, sci-fi setting, maybe we've moved past that kind of stuff. And yeah, maybe there are some factions like the Empire, like the First Order, who are very human supremacist. Mm-hmm. You don't have to hit people over the head with this kind of stuff. You can do it subtly in using those kinds of themes. X-Men did it. Star Wars does it. Star Trek does it impeccably. Not the new Star Trek, obviously, but, we
don't talk about new Star Trek in this household.
Okay,
Star
sorry.
Trek and venereal disease? Oh, sorry. Because I started making fun of it the first time they abbreviated the show name. I'm like, are you kidding me? It abbreviates to STD. Did nobody notice that?
They didn't happen to watch the naming conventions we use for the shows, Oh,
okay. So I actually agree with Serenity on this, where she says, I hope KK stays, but shift her focus more into the financial aspects of her role and move up a creative lead. That's what she should be, I think, because I'm pretty sure that's probably what she's more experienced in her tenure as a producer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to do that, though.
Oh, yeah.
No, somebody's got to fall on their sword.
Yeah. And I think with all the gas that she's had with this, and let's just face it, the press around this has been abysmal, because everybody that has been, whether you've watched just the trilogy movies or read all the material that extends the universe, if you have just the smallest bit of criticism that is actually criticism, not making fun of the characters, but actually having constructive criticism, you were labeled everything in the book and then some.
So fucking stupid.
Or as a friend of mine in high school, after he went through Navy boot camp, said, you got called every name that you could imagine and a lot more that you couldn't. And it's ridiculous.
And that's what royally pisses me off about this whole thing. Instead of taking responsibility, oh no, it's the fans' fault. Oh, they're just racist, sexist man babies.
It's all the incels on the interwebs.
Oh, and now you're looking at what the critics are saying about the Rise of Skywalker. It's like, we've been trying to fucking tell you guys for the past 4 years or so, that this trilogy has been garbage, that the writing's been garbage. Oh no, but you guys are sexist, racist man babies.
You're trolls.
Then then why do we look at things like Solo or Rogue One and say, hey, those were kind of interesting?
Yeah.
They were all right. They were, original trilogy amazing, but they were all right.
I liked Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One was definitely one of the best newer properties, other than Mandalorian, of course.
I know, right?
Solo was a little, but it was a good movie.
See, I have yet to see Solo or Rogue One. I gotta sit down and watch both of those. Find them somewhere.
I don't know. I can't deal. I don't know if I can do a Solo movie without Harrison Ford, because to me, Harrison Ford is Han Solo.
Yeah, he just didn't want to do them anymore.
No doubt.
He didn't want to do them anymore, and I'm thinking instead of having him killed off, some people said that he begged for Solo to be killed off, just to have him in the background on a mention. Go, well, what happened to Han, Leia? He retired. He doesn't want anything more to do with this anymore. He's over here doing this.
Yeah,
he's on the back moons of Kashyyyk raising our kids.
Right. That would have made more sense than just having, the emo boy Kylo Ren and kill his dad. I'm sorry. That is not a Sith. That is an emo, whiny baby boy. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to be strong in the Force. You're supposed to be trained by Luke and Snoke and God knows who else. And you couldn't tell that the person that was standing in front of all the AT-ATs wasn't actually there, but a fucking Force projection? How stupid are you?
Yes, Mr. Scott. A Dash Rendar movie would have been could have been amazing.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Another thing. Apparently, Han does make an appearance in The Rise of Skywalker as a vision. They actually got Harrison Ford back in it, and I was just thinking they had to have paid him big time money to, I'm sure they were probably begging him and willing to pay him anything.
Please, Harrison, we won't ask you for another thing ever again. We just need you to shoot for 5 minutes for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, as far as him be Harrison Ford is Han Solo and Han Solo is Harrison Ford, I completely agree with you, but I'm less stuck on when they need to, for whatever real life reasons, change an actor for a character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm less bothered by it. Obviously the key thing is just find someone who could do those mannerisms and the way his swagger, the way he walks, the way he talks, the way he looks at people. Find somebody who could do that, not just the guy they found. Really, he's like a male version of Brie Larson. He's a walking, talking 2x4. He was not charismatic at all. And when they first were starting to have problems with him and getting him acting lessons, they should have just been like, nope, sorry, we have to go with somebody else. You can't do that with such a mega property like Star Wars and just try to mold the person for the role instead of finding someone who can just slip right into that role.
Mm-hmm.
There's a plethora of great actors out there.
That's the problem when you diversity hire. You're not looking for talent. You're looking to, check a box.
I guess, but he's a white dude, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not only that. It's the whole thing with some people like the young Lando, some people didn't, and I'm like, look, let's just face it. Whether they found somebody that looked like he could be related, to our boy enough to actually look like a young Lando Calrissian or not, there's only one Lando.
I agree. Yeah.
There's only one Lando because there's only one actor that portrayed him to the point where, it was an attitude.
Yeah.
You can't just say, all right, say these lines. All right, you're good enough. That'd be like, back in the Evil Dead when hello, Nick, don't. Did you say it exactly like that? Well, I said it close enough. Not every single syllable, but it was close enough.
Yeah, I mean, Billy Dee, and nobody else is going to be Lando but Billy Dee to me. But that being said, Don Glover did a good job. He in juxtaposition to the guy who played Solo, he slipped right into that role and he became the character. He slipped into it, no problem. But yeah, it was a little hard at times while watching Solo to just sort of be like, I know that's not Billy D.
Yeah.
Kind of ruined my immersion just for a minute.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like when I sat down and I was showing Paul the original trilogy, Star Wars trilogy, before I started playing the movies, before I hit play. There's a few things you need to know. Because yes, this was done in 77, 80, and 83. Computer-generated crap was not prevalent back then. They did practical effects. Okay? He goes, all right. Just keep that in mind. And I hit play. About halfway through, he goes, how do they do that battle scene with practical effects? Models. Holy crap! That's all he said. That's all I got. So my kid, holy crap! They did all that with models? Yes.
ILM, that's how they became the juggernaut they are in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so shall we get back to the pain?
Yeah.
we got the pleasure part out. Now we get to deal with the pain. Just the Reylo stuff. Like why?
Shippery. It's the Star Wars of shippery. Episode 9, the shippery edition.
Oh, it's like we could fix some aspects. We could retcon some stuff from Last Jedi. Nah, we're just gonna give a moment for a vocal minority that only runs rampant on Twitter.
You can see why I'm not on Twitter.
This is no shit, right? I don't blame you, sir. No, but it's like it's this kind of shit right here where I'm just like, this proves right here that they don't know what the fuck the audience wants.
No. Yeah.
Oh, what's this one? Rey is the granddaughter of Grandpa Palpatine.
Of course.
Yeah. You know.
Takes the name Rey.
What? Oh my God. Rey Skywalker.
Your last name is Palpatine. You don't have the right to call yourself a Skywalker.
And not just that, she did not really even have a connection to Luke.
Luke didn't want to teach her. That was one of the things that got me. Okay? From what I understand from all my friends that were explaining to me the extended universe, Luke didn't, unless there was absolutely no way to redeem a person, he never gave up on someone.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, here he is, just a hint of the dark side in Rey, and I can't teach you. What the fuck?
Oh yeah. Jason Solo, he tried to bring him back from the dark side. Didn't happen. He had ample opportunities. He was much stronger than him. He had so many opportunities to kill Jason Solo. Didn't, because he was still that hopeful farm boy that when we first met him. At his core, he's still that hopeful, always looking for the silver lining, the best in people, and bringing it out in them, like he did with Solo, like he did with everybody. It just the whole new trilogy just completely ruins the character from the outset.
I mean, it's just they ruined him. They made Han looked like a shadow of his former self, a completely incompetent adult that didn't deserve to have children, let alone a wife. And it's like, you don't do this. His arc was one of the best arcs in the original trilogy. He went from a selfish, self-centered smuggler who did everything for the coin to actually caring about people enough to marry one and have children with them.
And help rebuild the New Republic.
I mean, if that isn't one hell of a character arc, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
No, it's like the fucking a Palpatine is the last one standing. Yeah, Let that sink in.
Yeah, just diminish the sacrifice of Anakin in Return of the Jedi by bringing Palpatine back to life.
Fuck that. It's like when I saw that they were bringing Palpatine back, I'm like, you do realize this literally retcons the original trilogy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I was having none of it. I heard that in the very first trailer. I turned it off. I'm like, nope. I knew right then and there, I'm not watching this movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
That shit alone makes this movie worse than The Last Jedi. I mean, you could say, yeah, we all agree it was really shitty what Rian Johnson did to Luke's character. But to completely erase the whole purpose of the original trilogy, and not just that, but completely erasing Anakin's redemption arc, the whole point of Anakin's story. No.
Turning on his former master. Yeah. And it even felt good, how many decades later, watching the prequel trilogy, watching that turn. It wasn't the greatest. I'll admit that. The original, not original trilogy, the prequel trilogy wasn't that great, but it was still kind of Star Wars, and it was still interesting to see how the events unfolded in Lucas's mind, even though the execution wasn't the best. But to see how he sinks his claws into him, and then later have that, in the timeline, having that scene of Vader throwing him over the railing into the power core was just, it came together. It still came together in a series. This is just all, it's chunky. It's just like they're mashing it in there. It doesn't matter if the peg fits. They're just going to put it in there anyway.
Well, and it's like I had the pleasure of getting to watch the original trilogy again just recently and watching Return of the Jedi. And just, that whole scene between Vader looking over at Palpatine, then looking back over at Luke. I mean, all that leading up to it was such a powerful moment.
Yeah. Because for the first two movies and the first half of that movie of Return of the Jedi, Vader was the big bad. He was the alpha evil in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out, well, wait a minute, he's got this puppet master.
Yep.
Oh. And they ruined, I mean, obviously Johnson ruined any opportunity with having Snoke being the Emperor, the Palpatine character, the big puppet master behind the scenes. And I'm so bad with the names in the new trilogy. Kylo didn't even come, he wasn't even a shell of Vader. He wasn't scary. I wasn't afraid. Everybody calls him, the emo, spoiled child character, and I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong.
Oh,
That's all I'm getting off of him.
I call him Krylo Ren. It's
there
like I almost laughed out loud when he had that temper tantrum in The Force Awakens. I'm like, wait, this dude is supposed to be the new Darth Vader? Seriously?
Yeah. And yeah, you're right, JC. It's just that I just forget it happens. Like, look at me trying to even remember the names. I don't really remember. Like, if I actively recall, like if Lindsay were to ask me a question about a specific scene, like the Leia scene, I could recall that in my mind. But for the most part, it's locked in a little vault in the back of my brain, and I kind of threw away the key.
Well, it's like for me, this 7, 8, and 9, I'm filing in the same file as the second Highlander movie Never Happened file.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I'm moving on because 1, 2, and 3 were mediocre. Meh. Okay. But 7, 8, and 9, I'm sorry, they didn't happen. That shit show never happened. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's just like the Christmas special.
Yeah, what Christmas special?
Well, no, and it's like that's what Odin mentioned on his stream today, that he's and I'm the same way, and I'm sure many other fans are going to do the same thing. They're just gonna write this trilogy off as non-canon.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we talk canon, I don't like this whole, the corporation, the like Disney tells us what's canon. We're the fans. At the end of the day, what's canon for me is canon for fucking me. That's my decision. What's canon for you, Lindsay, Maddie, that's your decision. Maybe we'll agree on most of it, but there will be some conflicts. But at the end of the day, that's your individual right that's your canon. That's your, to use a rather demonic phrase, that's your truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think it's going to get to a point that the backlash is going to be so severe that I think eventually Disney's going to have to come out and say, okay, you guys can disregard this trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
We're not canonizing this. This is no longer considered canon. It's going to have to happen.
Yeah, or they're just going to have to get away from that arc of the Skywalker legacy altogether.
Well, I mean, the problem is Kathleen, the franchise killer Kennedy she kept saying, well, we feel constrained. We didn't have anything to go on. Excuse me for my French at this particular moment. Bitch, there are books.
Bitch, please.
Comic books. Bitch, where? Bitch, where? Where did you come up with this phrase? Because there are books, there's comics,
It's the singular moment when you have proof that Kathleen Kennedy is completely wrong for this job. Mm-hmm. She has no business being here. If she doesn't know that, oh my God.
Well, when she said that, okay. So when she said that, I was like, okay, you're talking to someone like me who I don't know much about the Star Wars lore outside of the original trilogy. So I know nothing about the EU, but even I was aware that there were plenty of books and comics that they could have pulled from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like I remember reading, I forgot which book it was, where Luke was, if they wanted to continue, even if they wanted to continue the Skywalker saga, there was a book, can't remember the title of it, where he was trapped on this planet and he couldn't use his force powers because there were certain animals there that prevented force use.
Yeah, the Isalamir. That was the actual first trilogy post Jedi that was endorsed by Lucas, and it was the Dark Force Rising trilogy. Introduced Grand Admiral Thrawn, the Imperial Remnant, and the New Republic. And I maintain, even to this day, if they did an adaptation of that trilogy, people would be salivating after that first film, going, "Oh my God, we want more!"
Yeah,
because it delves deep into Palpatine's legacy without bringing up Palpatine. It digs deep into Luke's character and maintaining not only being pretty much the last most powerful Jedi in the galaxy, but also being that paternal figure to potential new Jedi, to revitalizing the Order and becoming that new peacekeeper in the galaxy that we saw, in the first I want to say chronologically the first trilogy, the prequels,
Yeah, I mean, it's not only that. She contended that, and the first thing I said was, besides the books and the comic books, and I'm like, there's an entire MMO.
Yeah. And Lindsay, JC's right. If you're going to read anything, read that. The Dark Force Rising trilogy. So good. Timothy Zahn, amazing writer. And giving him the property of Star Wars, oh, man, it gives me goosebumps just remembering that trilogy. Like, I can remember everything about that trilogy. Can't remember anything about the new films.
Well, I've been saying.
Well, they did canonize Thrawn, JC. Yeah, they did.
Well, and it's like I've been wondering where to start when it comes to the EU. And that reminds me, the one good thing I think that's going to happen from this debacle that is episode 9, I think that's going to push more people into reading the EU.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I think the EU, there's going to be a rise in book sales.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like, I can see that. And then it's everybody's whispering that, they're actually, even though they say they're not going to do any more movies for a while, there are whispers of Knights of the Old Republic. And I'm like, not if Kathleen and Ryan get together and do it. I don't want Rian Johnson to touch another Star Wars property ever.
He won't. It's like I think they are aware of just how bad the backlash was against The Last Jedi. It would be financial suicide to bring him back.
Because it's like him, and then you have, the other thing of the two idiots that screwed up the 8th season of the Game of Thrones.
God, don't get me started on that.
I knew Maddie was going to say that. I'm like, don't say that in front of cynical Lindsay. Please.
You know what? Oh my God. You should have heard the noise that I made when I saw that they were no longer a part of the Star Wars the new Star Wars.
Right?
The noise that came out of my mouth was not human.
Sounded almost like a Rian Johnson laugh.
I had so many mixed emotions. I'm just like, okay, part of me is like super happy that these fucknuts are no longer with Star Wars, but then at the same time, I'm just like, you motherfuckers, you rushed through the last season of Game of Thrones just to get started on Star Wars.
To then throw it out the window.
To then all of a sudden decide, oh yeah, we're no longer going to, like, fuck off.
Again, I put them in the same classification as JJ. They're just overpaid hacks.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's. I knew when they said J.J. Abrams was going to have a hand in any of the Star Wars movies after what he did to the Star Trek movies. I'm like, no, he doesn't need to be anywhere near Star Wars because he's going to kill this one too. Because when he said, at first they said, well, we're going to have Abrams work on the Star Trek, IP. And then in an interview, he said, well, I've never seen any of the television shows and I've never read any of the books. I'm like, how? How can you do this? How can you take charge of a franchise that has been there for decades, not knowing anything about it and go, I'll make this movie? No, go sit in the fucking corner.
Go sit in the fucking corner. See that stack of books right there? You're going to read every fucking last one of them if you want to stay on this project.
Thank you.
I will give him a reading list of 24 books right now that is essential reading if you're going to continue on this Skywalker legacy.
Right. Oh, I'm not giving any EA money by playing the MMO. I don't play for the premium for the EA for the MMO. Okay. I don't. I play it free.
Okay.
But I will give D&B one thing. They took George R.R. Martin's already established source material, translated it well to screen, and if they did that with Star Wars, we would have probably got a little bit more success, but they didn't. And it shows when, like you said, rushing the last season of Game of Thrones, last 2 seasons, I should say, they had no source material to draw on, and they were completely up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. They really were. And instead of admitting defeat or admitting that this is maybe too big of a project for them, they were probably forced to fulfill their contracts.
Well, yeah, and I was exactly going to say the same thing, Functional. It's like DB Weiss and Benioff, they're good at adapting from source material. Like, because the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones is like some of the best television ever.
Oh, yeah.
And I still stand by that, despite... it's just sad, though, that the last season forever ruined me wanting to go back and rewatch the series.
Yeah,
I just stop at the second last season. I'll watch up until the end of that, and then I'll move on to something else.
It's like, I don't even know where to pick a stopping point with Game of Thrones.
I told somebody one time that I've only seen the first 4 seasons of the television show. They're like, good, don't watch it any further.
That's about all you really need. Yeah.
You've done all you need to do. Don't watch any further.
Oh, so well, yeah, and that's the thing, dear. The problem is that it does kind of fall on George R.R. Martin, like, because he hasn't finished the books. I'm sure if he would have finished the books, then we wouldn't have gotten the debacle that we got.
Well, I mean, he did it. To me, he could have had the option of sitting down with Benioff and Weiss, having the outlines ready for the rest of the material, and them going along the lines of the outlines. The books, the future books, didn't need to be written and published. He already knew what the roadmap was for the rest of his books and pretty much how the books were going to end. So all he had to do was go, here are the outlines. Here's the material you need. If you have any questions for any future screenplays for these television shows, come to me and I can either approve them or make changes to them in order for them to be approvable for you to continue the show.
Yeah, and they could have done that with Star Wars, but they didn't.
Yeah, they know.
Because they didn't have any extra material to draw upon.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing out there that has a Star Wars story. We're the first.
Right. I mean, even if they didn't want to read the books or the comic books, hey, George, where do we go from here? Because he did the original 3. Hey, George, do you have any ideas of where we need to go from here? We need your help. And I bet you anything, being as smart ass George is, well, you could read these books and go from here. I can see him doing that. I can really see him doing that.
I don't know.
But I mean, it's just, you can't say you didn't have anything to go on and not expect there to be backlash. And then, according to Mecca out there, is an article going, telling us not to overreact and not to be angry. Really, the past 4 years you've been calling us every name in the book, but we're not supposed to be angry and fly off the handle. Really, okay, right.
Oh God, it's like I need to take advice. I need to take cues from Mecha Random and get myself a writing crop. Like every time I see fucking articles, just have something to hit.
To me, my thing is when I run into those articles, and I am going, if I have to go to a thrift shop or buy a pair from Family Dollar, I am gonna have a pair of chanclas. They are coming out. I am gonna be that Cuban woman with the chancla. I am. Wait for it. It's coming.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just gotten so, the levels of ridiculousness are just.
I just try not to let it get me down.
I of course I'm gonna. I'm actually more interested in just the shitstorm that it's caused. I'm just on the sidelines, just laughing my ass off.
Your popcorn, just laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the fun. This is what gets me here, right? Is that apparently the episode 9 has united Reylos, Last Jedi fans, and people in the fandom menace, or people that are fans of Star Wars. It united the entire fandom over this damn movie.
Something was bound to sooner or later.
I don't know if you've gone through the J.J. Abrams is over hashtag, but and that was trending yesterday on Twitter. All right, so let's get back to that freaking.
the spoilers, as River would say.
Torture myself.
The movie doesn't explain how Palpatine is back. People are leaking that have seen the movie that he's just a reanimated corpse. They literally paraded a corpse around in the movie.
Have you seen the image that was leaked? It's pretty bad.
I saw somebody actually did a bootleg recording off their phone of the battle scene between Rey and Palpatine, where Palpatine is shooting lightning bolts at her, and all she does is cross 2 lightsabers to block them and then slowly make her way to his throne. I'm watching this 35-second clip going, what's that word I'm looking for? I'm reaching for it in the distance. It starts with a B. Oh, yeah, bullshit. That's the word I'm looking for. Bullshit. Because that's what this is.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at those leaked images now. Ugh.
Yeah. Of course, I'm not going to share them here because I don't want Disney slapping me. So
anybody in the chat, you can Google them yourself. They're like the first few results.
Just go to the subreddit Star Wars leaks and it has it all.
Yeah.
And apparently the scene between Rey and Palpatine was leaked, like the whole entire, I don't know if it's the whole entire scene or like there's a legit video clip of it. I don't know if it's since been taken down, but
they downloaded it and they're re-uploading it. It's a 41-second clip of her and Palpatine going at it.
Oh, and to add insult to injury, so apparently there's some dialogue exchanged between Rey and Palpatine where Palpatine says, "I am all the Sith," and then Rey's like, "I am all the Jedi." I'm like, bitch, what?
Right? She's, oh my God. It's ridiculous. The level of ridicularity, and it is. And see, somebody said, well, I've read fan fiction that's not bad. They're not referring to this. I'm like, what this trilogy is that they sat a 4-year-old in front of a fucking word processor that looked like a computer and went, honey, now that we've shown you some Star Wars stuff, write us a story and we'll make a movie from it. Okay, mama, I do that. Tippy, 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 tippy. That's what it looks like to me at this point. Because it's abysmal. It's freaking abysmal.
I was just thinking of a monkey just behind a typewriter.
Yeah,
is-
it's making my head hurt.
This monkey this whole entire time he wrote.
The theory is true. You stick a room full of monkeys with typewriters and shut the door, they'll come out with something. Not telling you what they come out with is good, but they'll come out with something. Oh God, this is just reading. This is just very poorly written fan fiction by a woman with 30 cats that had too much wine. That's what this is. This is written by a woman who has 30 cats and had way too much wine.
And who's never seen the original trilogy.
Exactly.
Well, something tells me that's probably what Kathleen Kennedy's storyboard at Lucasfilm are probably all like that, are all like people with 30 cats.
Sorry. That's the only thing I came up with. Because I refuse to insult people by saying this is written by somebody who was so high on marijuana it didn't make any sense. I'm not going to go there. This was written by a drunk, crazy cat lady. I'm telling you, that was living her life vicariously through the Mary Sue. This is that. It's like Stephanie Meyer wrote Star Wars. No, I hate to say this because, God, I hated the Twilight trilogy, but Twilight was better than this. Twilight was better than this. You know, I'm going to flip the meme backwards. Twilight was a better love story than this shit.
Well, that was one of the problems. They should have never made it a love story.
Yeah.
It wasn't even really okay. So we had like what, probably 2 minutes of Reylo at the most.
Yeah. I remember sometime in the Whispers in the Wind, some young directors came up to Lucas and asked him if he was going to remake 4, 5, and 6 to put a steamy love scene in it. And he said, I've made millions of dollars off those movies without putting that crap in them. Why would I want to redo them, put that crap in them now?
Yeah.
You know, he even remastered his stuff to put in CGI stuff that he couldn't before when the movies first came out, not to change the movie, but to augment the back scenes.
Uh-huh.
You know, he did it artfully, in my opinion, because if you're going to use CG for that, I love, them walking through the windows in Cloud City and you seeing, the cloud cars going by and the clouds outside the window. It gave you a feel of you not being closed in.
Turning Mos Eisley into an actual bustling spaceport with lots of people and aliens and improving the explosion of the Death Star to be more realistic instead of just sparks.
Mm-hmm.
I still love the models. I'll still like, those X-Wing models over the CG. Yeah. I'll take the models every time. Yeah. But the when you like you said, keyword is augment, not fully replace. And I think that was the problem in some aspects. He just went a little too far with the CG. There was no need to redo the X-Wings.
No.
If you wanted to maybe animate it inside the window, the pilot maybe turning his head or something, sure. But don't augment the actual vehicle itself because it was perfect the first time around.
Yeah. I mean, they rely too much nowadays on, visual effects and CG than practical effects. And they're like, well, the practical effects are more expensive. I'm like, I don't care. If you can do it with practical effects and it looks good, I'll go see the movie. But if you can do it with practical effects and it would look better than you do it computer generated, and you do CG anyway, that's your poor decision.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because I want to sit there in the theater and go, how the hell did they do that? Instead of, oh yeah, I see the outline of the CG.
Or the movements just aren't natural. So you're again, the scene when they first pull into Mos Eisley and there's that big dinosaur looking thing that the Jawa gets swung on didn't look very natural in its movements. You could obviously from the quality, yes, you can tell it's CG, but just the movements weren't natural enough.
No.
all these little things that your brain just says, that's CG.
Yeah.
That's not a puppet.
Yeah.
Look at the costumes. Look at the puppetry. Jabba in the original movie. Fucking amazing, incredible.
Yeah.
How did they do that? And then
Yeah.
you see the CG Jabba and you're just like, oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. It's like, you guys actually went there? What the fuck?
Yeah, this actually passed all your quality control and made it to the end screen.
Right. When you could have just as looked at the puppeteers and even probably looked at Henson and went, we want a full life, full body Jabba the Hutt that can walk around puppet. Can you do that? Henson probably would have went, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. I mean, you know, practical effects to me will always, in many, many ways, be better than CG because it leaves you with that sense of wonder. You know it's a practical effect. You know if you look it up, you can figure out how they did it. But it's the initial holy crap. When you know it's a practical effect, when you know it hasn't been done on a computer, that makes you go, oh, wow, how did they do that? And it's just, you know, I remember the first time with computer generation that I went, holy shit, you have outdone yourself. And that was the first Jurassic Park movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
that scene in the kitchen with the raptors.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm referring to. Why, if the movement is more natural, because that looked real. The movement was realistic, was frightening. It brought you into you can tell, your eye could still tell that, yeah, it's probably, you know, you could tell where the CG is, but it was still believable because the movements were just so incredibly well emulated to animals.
Yeah, I remember looking up the what was it? The interview with the staff that did all the CG dinosaurs. And they're like, yeah, Lucas said before we even sat down at a computer, we had to not only research how dinosaurs would probably move, but act out their movements in the parking lot. So here we were looking like complete idiots at Industrial Light and Magic, traipsing around like gallimimuses and all this stuff in the parking lot, wondering what everybody in the buildings around us were thinking of these lunatics next door.
Okay, so functional Chucker, Matt, and Blind Girl says, if you like it, you need to put a ring on it.
Next question.
I don't know what. I'm just delivering the message. But where were we? Oh yeah, these. Do I even want to talk about these goddamn leaks anymore?
Why?
Where are we on the list?
Oh yeah, so
right?
so we got Leia and Kylo have no scenes together. Rey stabs Kylo during the fight. At the same moment, Leia dies. Rey cries and heals him out.
Again, just cause she knows how to do this, just cause.
Right.
Oh my god, I can't.
Right?
I don't have enough alcohol for this.
It's like, oh my god, I stabbed you! No! You know, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, can we talk about Miss Mary Sue? Now apparently she can heal people now.
From death.
Resurrect.
By being stabbed from a lightsaber.
I will resurrect you with my Mary Sue powers, for they are infinite and uncapped. The fuck?
I'm like, never mind, Luke. The most power that basically Luke had was using the Jedi mind trick. Like, Luke didn't know how to my brain's broken.
This shit will break your brain. And it was like from the first movie on, I'm like, you touched the lightsaber. Now you know all the knowledge of the Jedi before you. That is the biggest piece of crap shit plot device I've ever seen in my that is the MacGuffin of all fucking MacGuffins. That is the He-Man sword of He-Man swords. I mean, woof.
But the sacred Jedi texts,
right? I was like, oh my God, I'm going to touch Luke Skywalker's, lightsaber, and all of a sudden I am imbued with all the knowledge of all the Jedi before me because I am Mary Sue, and I am the bestest bitch that ever was. Give me a fucking break. Give me a goddamn break. That's just as bad as my dad always making fun of Deanna Troy by going, I feel a fart on deck 17.
Computer, who's on deck 17?
I swear to God, my dad would try and watch TNG with us, and as soon as they put this camera on Deanna, he'd go, oh, this bitch again. Captain, I feel a fart on deck 17, and he'd leave the room. Every time.
Oh, shout out to Chucker Matt for liking and sharing the stream. Thank you very much, sir.
Cool.
Greatly appreciate anybody. Yeah, please like and share the video. Although I'm sure Serenity's probably going to dislike the video, but
there's always one. But I mean, it's you look at this shit, and I tried. You talk to these people because you try and point this shit out. If Finn couldn't kick Kylo emo boy Ren's ass, and he was a trained soldier. Here's little miss, I'm going to swing a lightsaber like a baseball bat, and she kicks his butt. How believable is that? Zero believability. And then somebody tried to tell me, well, she had a staff weapon. Look, staff weapons and saber weapons are two different classes of weapon. They're weighted differently. They're used differently.
Yeah.
You can't spend your entire life using a staff weapon and then all of a sudden somebody gives you a lightsaber and you're fucking Zorro with it.
It's fucking Zorro.
Yeah. Look. Luke barely got away with his life from a Wampa. He didn't just pick up the lightsaber and look, I'm Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight. Right. And then there's time between Empire and Return of the Jedi where he's training. Mm-hmm. You see it all it's off-screen training. It's implied. He continues his lessons from Master Yoda, and again, he's learning from Yoda, the greatest Jedi who had ever lived.
Yep.
Man, one of my favorite lines of dialogue was in Empire, where Luke says to Yoda, I love it how he's just like, I didn't believe it. And Yoda was like, and that's why you failed.
Yeah.
Or that's why you failed.
Yep. Do or do not. There's
no try. That is my motto to live by.
Yeah. I love that. And then, they always put those little funny lines in there, like, when 900 years you will look as good, you will not. Like, I know I'm not a good looker, damn it. But it's those three were so masterfully written because he still had his flaws. He was still impetuous. He was very impulsive, even though he was trained by Yoda.
Yep.
Here you have Rey, who picks up a lightsaber and gets imbued with the mysticism of the universe.
Now, it would have been interesting if say she was something like a sleeper agent for Snoke or so, or at least whoever they'd pick as the main villain. I think that would have been an interesting idea that would somewhat explain all these OP powers that she has.
Yeah.
Like, they could have gone somewhere with it, but of course Rian Johnson had to go and throw a wrench into the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many problems with it. First of all, what was her motivation to leave Jakku and join the rebellion?
That's true, because Luke had a reason to join Obi-Wan, and accompany him to Alderaan.
And then it's not even that. It's okay. We've established her as scraping for any little cash she can just to survive, just to eat from day to day. And so you're telling me this scavenger that is just surviving on this planet is going to save this droid from another scavenger and not go sell it for parts? You're going to tell me she's going to save this droid and look for its owner instead of selling it for top dollar coins so she can eat like fucking royalty for months?
Yeah, be financially stable for the next year.
Yeah.
no motivation whatsoever. Luke, several different motivations.
Yep.
Learning about his parents, learning about the Jedi, always wanting to go to the academy, never able to. He's got that wanderlust. He's lived, he understands that the imperial rule is oppressive and demeaning and just evil. And he wants to fight that. Like, it just compounds to the point where, yeah, he does get swept up in the rebellion.
Yeah.
But he has those root motivations that all come together.
Yeah.
It's just like, why? There's no reason for any of this.
No.
Well, and not just that, but
Give us a reason.
Luke had an actual journey.
Mm-hmm.
Rey suffered no consequences from her actions. Meanwhile, you have Luke here who decides to abandon his training with Yoda on Dagobah to go save his friends. It turned out it was a trap.
He cost him his arm, almost cost him his life.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is the true hero's journey. He's got to learn because he makes mistakes. He learns from the mistakes. He becomes better. He becomes a better person. He becomes stronger.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is how you build the hero.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just, they're the hero.
Yeah. Let's give everything to them.
That's
It's like, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching The Last Jedi, and when they communicate cross galaxy without a communication device, I'm like, what is this Demolition Man bullshit? I don't see any VR headsets on anybody. How are they doing this shit? Somebody explain this crap to me. How are they touching each other cross galaxy? When did the Demolition Man play into this bullshit? This is a different galaxy altogether. Come on, don't pull this bull crap with me. Jeez, come on. How much bull crap are you gonna pack in this? Movie?
Exactly. Skittles gets behind. She might have ridden speeders and disassembled and got parts from ships and whatever. That doesn't make her a freighter pilot that can get behind the cockpit and fly it better than Han Solo. What?
Right.
What? Or just as good as?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got some moves in Empire. He's dipping and weaving and dodging those ISDs, no problem. And Rey, we're just going to dodge these fighters like it's nothing. Do you remember in A New Hope when in open space, Han had to fight? He couldn't just run. He had to fight. He had to, shoot everything is just so infuriating.
Mr. Misanthropic said, not to mention how Rey pilots the Falcon better than Han Solo and mastered the Force in 30 seconds.
Yeah. I was like, there's one argument I got into on Twitter about this. Many arguments I've gotten into about this. But this one was, Luke was the same way. He was an ace pilot. Look, let me explain to you how this shit works. He literally said, it's like flying my old T-7 and shooting womp rats at home, and they weren't any wider than 3 meters.
Yep.
This tells me, when he sat in the cockpit of the X-Wing, the controls were similar enough for him to go, I can pretty much fly this thing. Not, I can be a crack pilot in this thing, but, I can fly this enough to make it look like what I'm doing. Number 2, he took a look at the X-Wing and went, this is as big as that thing I used to fly back home. Okay, this might not be so bad.
Yeah.
Okay? Not, I'm going to hop in this thing and I'm going to be an ace pilot and I have never flown any other fighters in my entire... No. He compared it to something he had flown before and found it similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in the EU, they expand on the T-37. Actually looks a lot like an X-Wing, just has 2 wings. It's an atmospheric type of vessel, same size, but it's not really like a fighter. It didn't really have more weapons than... like for ship-to-ship combat, blah 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 blah. Just to sort of geek out a little bit, but in the EU, they're just sort of drawing that bridge. And when you first see the movie, you're like, okay, so that must have your brain just immediately goes, that must have been some kind of fighter style vessel, single person, not just a speeder.
Yeah, I mean, during dogfights, he still needed help. I mean, didn't Han pull his ass out of the fire while they were fighting around the damn Death Star before he blew it up?
Yeah, because the super elite rebel pilots were getting shot down by Vader. with good reason, because that is why Vader is Vader. He's scary because he does these things.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and Mr. Misanthropic says, also, fuck you, Rey. Luke has known Chewie for decades. You do not translate Chewie for Luke.
Thank you.
Luke, also remember, Luke, Leia, they didn't, in A New Hope, didn't understand what Chewie was saying.
Nope.
It's actually funny, in the new video game, Fallen Jedi Order, there's a throwaway line where one of the main characters, your sort of, your master, surrogate master, is teaching this new character, you want, and speaking to what the droid, like a droid says something, and she says to the Jedi, you understand, you speak droid? She goes, no, but after a while you just kind of understand what they're trying to say. And I was like, that is a fantastic throwaway line, because that does somewhat explain, because, think of your pets. When your dog barks a certain way, he wants food. He doesn't mean, I have to go for a walk or tinkle or whatever. He's asking for certain things. So that stands to reason with the droids. No, Luke doesn't understand entirely what R2 is saying, as you can see on the translation matrix on his X-Wing. That actually fully translates what the droid is saying. But when they're outside of the cockpit or whatever, he just sort of knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, because he's had him that long.
Yeah. And as he progresses with R2, then eventually he understands exactly what, or as close as he can, what R2 is saying. In Jedi, he's walking by him and he pretty much knows what R2 is saying.
Yeah.
Whereas you have someone like, I think it was Leia, who still asked 3PO what R2 was saying. She hadn't been around R2 as much as Luke had.
Yeah.
And I mean,
that's good writing.
Yeah. Our dear Mary Sue is the ultimate scavenger, because she scavenged everything from everybody and she just knows everything. Like, have you ever met a Wookiee before? Because we didn't know this from you being on Jakku. So how do you understand what Chewie is saying? What?
Maddie,
what?
Mare Sue is a Borg. she just assimilates everything she touches.
Yeah.
She touches R2, she can speak droid. She touches a starfighter, she can be a badass pilot. She touches the lightsaber, she knows how to be a Jedi. She's a freaking Borg.
Yep.
I don't know how anybody didn't see this before. They're using that new nanotech where they don't look like, your traditional Borg. They're sleeper Borg agents.
They're replicators.
Oh my God, JJ, you masterful bastard. I take back everything I've said. Oh God.
It's just such crappy writing.
Well, no, and it's like, I loved how in The Force Awakens, she could do a Jedi mind trick on a stormtrooper. Meanwhile, it took Luke 2 movies to do that.
Yeah.
And was completely amazed when Obi-Wan did it the first time. You see him kind of do that take to Obi-Wan, like, what the hell just happened?
Right. No, it's like, if you look when she goes to the planet to get training, after that little cross-galaxy communication thing, she doesn't say shit to Luke. You want him to teach you, but you're keeping this shit from him.
I would have had less of a problem if it was just a little thing here or there that she was just naturally good at. But to be good at everything is like the literal definition of a Mary Sue.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not good writing. Whether it's a Mary Sue or a Gary Stu, like it's not good writing.
No. And I mean, they could have switched it. They could have actually started her with a different type of some sort of motivation, like in the midst of scavenging or something, have her besieged by people, and all of a sudden, without thinking, she waves her hand in the air and 3 people mysteriously fly from her. And she looks at her hand like she has no clue what the fuck just happened.
Yeah, and that will tie into the do or do not. There is no try. Believe that it can happen, and it can happen.
Yeah. I mean,
because
also,
if it's just the one little thing here and there, then like your little example of her just, no, and just pushing.
Yeah.
And believing, and it just happening, and being in disbelief instead of, oh, well, I can just do it. So, you want to unlock me.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, it's Walking David said, because she is the Force. Luke might as well have been a stupid child compared to the pure Force essence that is Rey. I don't.
And that is why I have nicknamed her the Mare Sue.
I still giggle every time you say that too, Maddie.
Oh, it's accurate.
Yeah.
Just like I love how some people in the Fandom Menace are calling J.J. Abrams Jar Jar Abrams.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
golden.
that seems kind of an insult to Jar Jar Binks, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, because at least Jar Jar had his redemption in the second movie by having almost no screen time and just saying, you know what? I'm the cause of the Galactic Empire.
Right?
Thank you, Lucas, for righting your wrong and admitting that you were wrong.
Right? It's like I usually come up with like everybody kept saying he's Mary Ray Sue. It's Mary Ray Sue. And I'm like, okay, it's time for a Maddieism. How do I put these words together and have them make sense and everybody knows what I'm talking about? I got it. Mary Sue. She's a Mary Sue. Maddieism.
And then we're done here.
We're done here. You know, it's like earlier today, somebody asked me how the hell I came up with the word noobtastic. I'm like, well, when it comes to 7 Days to Die, I'm a noob, and it's a fantastic adventure, so noobtastic.
Noobtastic, I like that. Walking David, Luke is Rey's father.
Faja.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, his Faja.
His Faja. You know, his Faja. His dad.
His father.
Oh, his father. That's what I said. Faja.
Faja.
Oh, Goldmember. That's kind of a criminally underrated movie compared to the others.
That's like, and the other complaint that's coming out now is, you know, the new picture of her at the premiere of the person who played what's her butt, the Asian chick on the ship.
Oh, Rose Tico?
Yeah, Rose Tico, the girl that played Rose Tico. They're showing her in the evening gown at the premiere and everything. They turned her from this into this. How did they do that? The problem is this. I can see the uniform. But completely making her look frumpy? Come on.
Yeah.
Okay? Because an engineer on a ship is not going to be wearing makeup and having their hair done 24/7 because, hello, mechanic, engineer, ship. But
yeah, spending most of the day elbow deep in grease and mechanical guts. Yeah, you're not going to look done up.
Oh yeah, because I saw Kelly Marie Tran's picture from the premiere, and I'm like, she's a beautiful girl.
She is.
And it's like, why did Rian Johnson do that to her? Oh, what, male gaze? Male gaze?
Probably. I mean, what better way to erase how feminine she looks than stick her in an oversized jumpsuit?
Yeah.
David, you know that's teetering on the dark side, though.
It's like, how do you so basically you use the Force without straining. Well, because he says about you taking a shit using the Force, and I'm like,
no, now I have this weird dialogue going on in my head, going, why can't you Force push that? I'm Force constipated. I need a license.
You will go to the lavatory.
I have a blockage. Well, here, take this extra strength Force laxative. This should help.
Well, shit, apparently in Disney Star Wars land, you can actually Force heal people. Can't see why you couldn't take a shit using the Force.
Well, actually, Force heal is a thing that Jedi can do, but this is Mary we're talking about. There's nothing she can't do.
She probably could take a shit using the Force. I don't know.
Probably make someone else take a shit using the Force.
Well, hey, you can use the Jedi mind. Well,
exactly.
Can you imagine that?
You remember that space chili you had the other night? Yes. Now you want to take a shit. Now I feel like taking a shit. I'm gonna go take a shit now.
Oh my God, why didn't Seth MacFarlane use that in the Family Guy Star Wars or Robot Chicken Star Wars?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying, Patty. I hit the nail on the head, apparently, David.
David Poe manages to stow away on an Imperial ship due to Rey making the Red Troopers all take a collective force. Oh my god. Only on this show do we go from talking about bad spoiler leaks to using the force to take.
That's like when I was doing my video on the reaction to The Last Jedi in the part of the movie where she moves all the rocks to get everybody out of the cave. I said she just could have used the Millennium Falcon to blow a hole in it, but no, a Mary Sue's got a Mary Sue.
Sorry, I have to do this, but gives new meaning to the power of force push.
Yep.
Oh, that even makes me groan a little bit. I'm sorry, but it had to be said. That was like a drunkelism.
But hey, I am too, David. I am too. Oh my god.
This is mic drop. Yeah, making a beautiful woman look frumpy is Rian Johnson's way of subverting expectations.
We can't have you looking like that on the ship. Here, wear this. What is this? It's a jumpsuit, but it's too big for me. Exactly, because we can't have you looking like a woman. Excuse me, what?
It's a potato sack.
It's a potato sack. Here, wear this burlap sack. We're just tie some. We're just gonna.
I mean, even still, like if you look at something like Kaylee from Firefly, super attractive woman.
Yeah.
But still, like, turned her into the frumpy-looking mechanic, but still holding her femininity in such a way that, you know, yeah, she's rolled her sleeves all the way up, head to toe in grease, and her hair's a little bit undone, but she's still womanly. And Kelly Marie Tran just kind of came off as, oh, they're trying to make her look good, but also at the same time, like, she's wearing that potato sack. Like, it's just, nothing's working here. I mean, the character itself, how it was written, was also just...
You know, and my husband brought up a good point. It's true. We can't let people look pretty anymore.
No.
Otherwise, someone's going to lose their shit. Okay, so like when Carrie Fisher died, I don't remember if you guys remember this, but Steve Martin put out a tribute to her on Twitter, you know, saying that she was one of the most beautiful women that he'd ever seen, and fucking feminists lost their shit over that.
Oh, well, her value's only determined by her looks.
Well, it's like these are the same people who are now writing the newest iteration of the Captain Bitchface comic book to where they make her literally look like a man.
Yeah.
Which is really ironic because they hate men themselves, but yet they make their characters look like men.
Boy. Yeah.
Yep.
I think they're just so unhappy with themselves that they have to make everybody miserable, and that's why those types of people infecting like Star Wars, like Warhammer, like Star Trek, like all these you know fandoms, these hobbies, these communities. They have to get in there. They have no artistic bone themselves, so they can never do an original property. And using their narratives, it would never take off. It would never be financially viable. No one would care. No one would buy it except for their own little vocal minority.
Yeah. And then, I mean, they don't even care about continuity, because when you look back, because part of my fucking reaction video. No, I know the one thing I know, sometimes I notice technical things, me being a craft person as well as a writer. And my subsequent tweets, because I found my video. So one tweet is, so we can hear Vader clearly through his helmet, but Kylo's voice is full of static. Like, what happened to radio quality between, I don't know, The Empire Strikes Back and The Force Awakens and The Last Mary Sue? Did it go down the toilet?
Yeah. There is one thing that was a criticism of the newer stuff that, like, you know, like the displays on the Star Destroyers and everything, they're still very analog looking.
Yeah. Like
simple shapes and everything. And I'm thinking, I had an epiphany the other day. I'm thinking, you know what? That's probably to avoid hacking. Because slicing, what's colloquially known in the Star Wars universe as slicing, hacking computer software, is a pretty big thing. And so if you think about something like in Battlestar Galactica, what made the Galactica special was it had those simpler analog systems that weren't networked to prevent the hacking. So I was thinking, well, that's probably why they have those on those big capital ships, is because if somebody does manage to hack, the weapon systems, you're still able to control your propulsion systems because they're not networked, and they use a very rudimentary, easy to use system.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why that just popped into my head, but
Me either.
I guess it's my way of sort of balancing out all of our shit talking about the new Star Wars.
Right.
There's little parts here and there that I do appreciate. I really do.
Yeah.
And you can tell where the VFX people and the set building people and the costume people, actually, some of them did actually care about Star Wars and maybe put their all into their what little parts they could contribute.
Yeah, and then you have writing like they're talking about, the breaker box on a Star Destroyer, a breaker box. Not a control panel, not a relay conduit, not a relay switch or a relay circuit, a fucking breaker box on a Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
Well,
excuse me, I'm going to go beat my head against the door right now.
Using hyperspace as a weapon, having cloaking devices on these little shuttle pods, when clearly in Empire we were told a ship that small could never have a cloaking device.
Mm-hmm.
And the Millennium Falcon would probably be a lot bigger than those pods. Well, not a lot bigger, but a bit bigger than those pods. Mm-hmm. We're talking capital ships. Again, I'm referencing the EU. Capital ships had cloaking devices because they were these massive, unwieldy pieces of machinery that weren't readily available because of the fact that they were big, bulky, unwieldy pieces of machinery that didn't incorporate well into the current technological systems.
Yeah.
But no, and then the just by waving that magic wand of, we penetrated their cloak. Wait, what?
Right?
And then we can slip away on one ship, go to Canto Bight in hyperspace, and then come back, and then go there and come back. Why couldn't we ferry people away?
Right.
Like none of those things, like the overall writing of it, none of it makes sense.
No, none of the writing made sense at all. It's like, especially when you take a look at that whole fucking string of scenes of them on the planet looking for the master code breaker. You could have taken those entire scenes out of The Last Jedi and it wouldn't have made a difference to the story.
But then you would never know that Kelly Marie Tran likes the Aminals. Mm-hmm. And that what's his name? Not Poe.
Finn.
Oh my God, these names.
They massacred my boy. Because I was rooting for Finn in episode 7. He was the one that I was investing in.
Yeah, I was hoping he would be that sort of Han Solo character.
Mm-hmm. Po' boy Finn needs his rose. There you go.
He has, obviously, sure, I can get past him having his turn from being a heel early on. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then build on him, turn him into that character that stumbles and falls, but always gets back up, learns from his mistakes, and becomes better. And by the third movie, he could have been, again, in comparison to Solo, a general level type tactician and leader, and inspires people because he fell down here and there, and every time he got back up, and every time, channel that inner Luke farm boy hopeful, every time he's getting back up and he's saying to himself, he's saying to the people around him, we're not giving up.
Well, and
Someone just kicked my ass, but I'm not giving up.
Yeah. I mean, and then here you have, Mare Resu, you have the little porgs, and, now you have little baby Yoda, and I can't help but quote a certain wise person in a certain movie parody: merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. Spaceballs to t-shirts, Spaceballs to coloring book, Spaceballs to lunchbox, Spaceballs to breakfast cereal, Spaceballs to flamethrower.
The kids love this one.
Yeah, the kids love this one.
Oh my God, that reminds me, Spaceballs is more of a legitimate movie than the Disney trilogy at this point.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. Just like the Orville is more Star Trek than STD.
Yeah. And I still have yet to see that show.
Really? Oh my God, I love it.
You're missing a good one. I got to catch up. Show. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got to catch up.
There is, serious stuff going on. And they do take some, like, for all intents and purposes, yeah, there's a serious Star Trek core. You know, they're a peacekeeping force, etc. Blah 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 blah. But it doesn't take itself so seriously. People crack wise and make jokes, but at appropriate times. And it has that Star Trek feeling of being hopeful in the future and coming together in an alliance of not just humans but other people, and it just works so well.
Yeah. And they tackle tough topics without delving into the woke,
without being divisive.
Yeah, because
go ahead, Maddie.
The last and best episode I've seen, so I've got top 2. The second to best episode that I have seen so far, in my opinion, was the one where the 2 men were married and they had a girl, and their society didn't allow girls. So
the
Mocklins didn't allow the girls. And then the last episode that I saw, this will tell you how far behind I am, where they literally delved into the topic of social currency.
Yeah. And they do it. It's written in such a great way. Again, parroting, not parodying, parroting, channeling that inner Star Trek, where they present the problem at hand and it unfolds in their universe, but it's not preachy one way or the other.
Nope.
They're not hitting you as the observer over the head with what's going on. There's position A and the position B. And you, as the viewer, are sort of torn into your own standards and morals and ethics and come to your own conclusion, while the show and the characters are coming to their other conclusions. And they're not hitting you over the head saying, you're a bad person if you don't think that this is the way it should be, one way or another, you know?
Yep.
Very, very good writing. Very on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I know I need to watch The Orville, but I've been watching the other show that the Fandom Menace has been heavily praising, and that's The Expanse.
Oh, I've seen that.
Okay.
I got to catch up on that too.
I have to catch up on season 4, but oh my God.
Yeah, Elwin and I, we just finished season 4 the other day. Yeah.
Because seasons 2 and 3, I can't even determine so far which one is my favorite, because I love, God.
So Game of Thronesy. With the different arcs and the politicking and the different factions and oh my God, the sets, the set pieces, the acting.
Oh God!
Like your minor Beltaloda character is a fantastic actor and is written well. And you're only going to see him in maybe 1, 2, 3 episodes. But even those little pieces only serve the greater good of the show in the major characters. And oh my God, in season 4. Wow, they just start flipping everything. Well, at the end of season 3, obviously, but season 4, they continue just to they don't flip it on its head. They put it full spin cycle, and you're constantly going up and down and up and down, and you're just like, oh my God, oh my God. Because just like in Game of Thrones, you start off very basic. You know, there's knights and swords and feudal society, blah blah blah, and so in Expanse, it's, hard sci-fi. It's us as humans, as a species, very basically starting our spread out into the universe.
Yep.
And then the sci-fi hits you hard. And then, like in Game of Thrones, the magic, the dragons, all this, you get hints of it here and there. And just like that in The Expanse, you get hints of otherworldliness, of extraterrestrial life here and there, and then it just explodes in your face, and you're just like, say what?
Oh my God, I almost cracked up laughing unrelatedly because I saw what Razor Fist wrote about Luke Skywalker.
No.
Yeah, Razor Fist this was about around noon 30 today. Poor Luke Skywalker. Imagine your 2 endings are evaporating into a force fart because you concentrated too hard, or marrying a ginger. Not gonna lie, I'd swallow my saber.
I just face palmed so hard I hit my glasses. Oh my God.
That's Razor Fist. My God.
He can get just downright nasty and do it in he's such a wordsmith, that gentleman. Oh,
Oh God,
Gentleman of leisure, that man is.
he can weave insults together like an intricate woven rug. Holy shit, the dude is great.
That's good.
Oh, I see that hashtag Doomcock was right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a fan of all these guys, Fandom Menace, Doomcock. I've just tried to stay so far away from any Star Wars news as of late. Yeah, I've kind of lost everything.
Yeah.
Not that I care if I hear it. It's just it's my apathy towards that Star Wars. I'm like, I don't really care.
Well, and it's like,
good.
It was people like Doomcock and Gary at Nerdrotic that they're the ones that I took the recommendation of to watch The Expanse.
Oh, really? Nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, because those two praise the show. They've done streams on it and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get on the ball and watch The Expanse. And boy, am I glad I did.
Yeah, if you're a fan of sci-fi, yeah. It's a little bit more hard sci-fi than something like, I don't know, like a Babylon 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's, just everything about it.
Yeah, we started watching it. Ronan and I started watching it when we were living out of his company truck. And we obviously by Doomcock's, I say, hey, Doomcock says this is good. Let's click on it and watch it. Here we are. We parked at 4:00 in the afternoon. He's usually in bed by 9. Here it is, 11 o'clock at night, and he's going, do I watch one more, or do I have to go to bed because I had to drive tomorrow? Do I watch one more? Do we click play? Do we click,
I'll never forget Sunday night. We were binging season 3, and I'm like, oh fuck, I have to go to work the next day. Can we do one more episode? I need to squeeze in one more episode. Oh man, this show is just, whew. And speaking of which, I will do a stream on season 4. And of course, you two are obviously invited.
Oh, heck yeah. Sign me up. Mm-hmm. I'd love to pick somebody because, Elowin and I, we watch a lot of this stuff together. Thank God I found someone who likes these things. And we talk about it in real time, but it's always nice to hear what other people have to say because we are very much in our own little box of basically we see these things very much the same. So it's nice to hear other people's opinions, be them positive, negative, things I might have missed. So I always love talking geek about this stuff. I could go on at length, and I often on social media, because I'm on all other social medias, I'll share things like The Expanse, The Boys. I got the Drunken Uncle and Sinatra to watch The Boys. Because every week I'm in there. Did you guys see The Boys? Did you guys see The Boys? And on Discord, I'm like, you guys have to watch The Boys. You have to, because again, it's one of those shows that just takes the already established sort of world of something that people generally like, superheroes, completely flips it on its head and does it right. So that's why same thing with The Expanse. It's not the type of sci-fi that most people experience. It's not the Star Warses. It's not the Star Treks.
Yeah.
And conversely, it's not the Gravity, it's not the modern sort of sci-fi. What was that one with Jodie Foster with the aliens, the cephalopods? Contact.
Mm-hmm.
So, sort of a sci-fi that's set in modern technology times. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like in the middle. Like I said, we're just expanding out. We have, spacefaring technology, but we're not Star Trek. We don't have replicators and we don't have, fighter jets and all these kinds of things in space. It's so good.
Yeah. Well, it's the same with JC and I, where, it's nice to have someone to actually talk about that kind of stuff with. But of course, it's nice to actually share that because it's like it's nice to have both of us being able to talk about stuff like Star Wars and Star Trek and, The Expanse, of course. And then back when Game of Thrones, of course, back when that show was good, it's like we used to constantly theorize as to what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's my hubby and I are the same way. Ronan and I are the same way. We watched the premiere of Star Trek, the venereal disease, and we both looked at each other and we pointed at the screen and went, "Those are Klingons."
Oh God! Yeah. I saw that image. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Well, I have a theory. They wanted to make them look different. So what they did was they took a Klingon from the original series and a Klingon from the Next Generation and put them in a blender with the silverback gorilla, and this is what you got.
No, they just recycled the prosthetics from Lord of the Rings. Those are urukai.
Oh,
Space
don't
urukai.
insult the Urukai. Come on.
But yeah, like you were just saying, like Elwin and I, when we were watching STD, we didn't even have to say anything. We just look at each other and look back at the screen, and we both just kind of shake our heads and just we know exactly what the other one's going to say about like just what the fuck is going on here. And with a show like STD, it happened like every 30 seconds. That's how bad it is. Like you're kind of just going, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And it's just
like,
it wouldn't be a entirely bad show if it wasn't Star Trek.
Yeah.
If it was a separate, different named property, it would be fine. It would be an okay sci-fi show.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, it's just a real shame too, because it's got Sonequa Martin Green, and I liked her in The Walking Dead. When I saw that she was going over this, I'm like, oh, she's going to be in a Star Trek show. Awesome. And then it's just like, oh God, what is this?
Right, yeah. And that's the way we felt about the pilot. And then we were on Netflix and we found the little touted, very, very, very thinly marketed, The Dragon Prince. And we were watching that anime.
That's good.
I watched it first. I watched the first 3 episodes, and he was on the road, and he goes, "Did you find anything?" I said, "When you come home, we're binging The Dragon Prince because you have got to watch this." He goes, "What is it?" I said, "It's an anime that Netflix came out with." He goes, "Another anime?" I said, "Hey, we like the 7 Deadly Sins, right? Yeah, this one is just as good."
It's the same. It's the same guy who did Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's like he took Avatar: The Last Airbender, had a child with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And it's really, it gets a little hokey at times. Obviously, it's a somewhat juvenile, and I don't mean that in a pejorative sense, but a lighthearted cartoon for kids. Yeah. But it's really well done. It's really like, oh, what's her name? The elf chick. I love her.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Who's voiced by Karen Gillan from Doctor Who.
Mm. Yep. Yeah, I mean it's you have all of these things that are really, really good. They're really, really good ideas and properties. And like I already said, it's a wonderful anime. It's got wonderful characters. It's got great writing. And because they wanted to push she, him, and the princesses of shippery, it got pushed in a corner and not marketed as much.
Criminally underappreciated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just I love the show, and it's like I'm going to binge next time it comes home. We're binging the third season because we're keeping up. We're trying to keep up with this one.
A little off topic, but are you ladies at all fans of Stephen King?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Shining quote unquote sequel came out. Dr. Sleep. Just saw it yesterday. Yeah, Elwin, Karen Gillan is a goddess. I know. It was actually a really decent movie. Not at all the same as The Shining. It wasn't that cerebral Kubrick thriller. It was more of a, I almost want to say an action set piece without being an action movie.
Yeah.
It was a really, really interesting movie if you're into that sort of Stephen King world of Shining, the ability rather than the actual movie, The Shining.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd throw that in there.
JC is a big Stephen King fan, and from what I remember, he loved the book Dr. Sleep.
Yeah. I hadn't read it, unfortunately. I've really slipped on my King in the last several years. After, I think it was the 6th or 7th book of the Dark Tower trilogy, I was just like, I just can't do it anymore.
I tried listening. This is where I learned that my ADD does those books on tape as background noise, because I tried to listen to, the Dark Tower series as an audiobook. And I was with my second husband at the time, and he goes, "What's the book about?" This guy named Roland, and he found this kid, and he's really good at shooting a pistol. He goes, "Anything else?" I can't remember anything else. I'm actually going to have to read the books.
For me, it was like getting right into the dark, twisted mind that was Stephen King.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. That reminds me of seeing Blind Press talking about it. And she was like, like the last half of the book. She's like, "What the fuck was that?" I'm like, I know what you mean. Because I'll never forget, because I had the audiobook of it, and I remember I was listening to it as I was working one time. And it's like when they got into the bit about the turtle and about like this, that he's the one that created the universe and shit like that. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Right?
But of course, I think JC said, oh, this was back when Stephen King was on his Coke binge.
When he actually was good.
It was like my mom, when she had called me, because she reads Stephen King too, back when he had published Do McKee. And she goes, here, I'm sending you this book. You need to read this. I'm like, okay, what are you sending me? She goes, I'm sending you Do McKee. Do who? Do McKee. It's Stephen King's newest one. I just finished reading it. I said, well, what did you think? I said, he really needs to get off the painkillers because this one is weird even for Stephen. That's exactly how she put it. This is weird even for Stephen. I'm like, okay. And then she sent me Rose Matter. I'm like, what the hell was he on? Mom goes, this was after the accident. God only knows what they were giving him at this point. Her comments, sometimes I wish she either lived down here with me or I lived in Minnesota with her so we could read these books together and do mom and me reviews just so you guys can hear how smart ass she is. Because when she started out, yeah, this book is weird even for Stephen King. I'm like, okay. Mom, are you sure? I'm positive. This thing is weird as hell.
So we're coming up on the 5-minute mark. I think Streamlabs has, or not Streamlabs, StreamYard. Don't they have a 2-hour limit now?
No, it's 20 per month or something like that for free users.
Well, because I don't pay, so I'm like, isn't there a limit as to how?
There's a limit. It's a monthly limit though. It's like 20 hours per month or something.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was like maximum like 2 hours.
No, Jen and I still stream every now and then for 2.5, 3. It's just a monthly cap, and that's why we share the load as far as which channel's broadcasting, because it's only on behalf of the broadcaster. So like, this will only affect your hours, not mine or Maddie's. But yeah. Okay,
because I only stream
2 hours is always good for a show.
Yeah, well, because I always stream like usually on the weekends or so, every now and then, depending on if I have the time. So I guess I won't have to worry about the time limit.
Yeah, for real.
But I'm like thinking I'm probably going to wrap it up here in a few minutes because, well, I got to be up early for work in the morning. So I was just wondering if you guys have any final, I thought we would close this off with like final predictions for, well, not just episode 9, but like the future of Star Wars.
Well, if they continue with The Mandalorian and make things along the lines of The Mandalorian, there is a redemption for them as far as serial TV shows or streaming television series is concerned. But if they keep going along the lines in the movies the way they're going now, Star Wars, unfortunately, the big screen is going to tank.
Yep.
Unfortunately, yeah. But you know what? It's almost that's how a lot of industries are going these days. I covered on my show how the basically monopoly that is Cineplex Odeon, our nationwide powerhouse of a theater chain, was bought out because they weren't doing well. They got bought out by a UK company because they were failing. They're losing money every quarter, and it's just not doing so well. And it has to do with, we can get everything at home. We don't have to go out for anything. We have Netflixes, we have Disney Pluses. And so when you go to the theater, they have to give you a good experience and an even better product to get you out of your house into the theater. And they're just not doing that. Look at these movies. They're just not doing that. Excuse me. I think they're realizing it. Yeah. And I agree with you wholeheartedly, Maddie. With things like The Mandalorian, it's giving us hope. And hopefully that Disney's arm of LucasArts can go in that direction and keep that momentum. Because they can build off The Mandalorian. if and when Obi-Wan comes out and we see it and we're all like, hey, this is actually pretty good too, then that'll be the revitalization story of Star Wars. And maybe they'll stop doing the this is my prediction, they'll definitely stop with the whole Legacy of Skywalker series and do a lot more one-off movies, but still keep them in the greater canon. So we'll get more Rogue Ones, we'll get more Mandalorians. But I think that I think we're all on board with saying that that trilogy's dead. The new stuff. Nah, who cares? Nobody cares.
Well, I definitely stand by my prediction on if this movie fails, I think Kathleen Kennedy's done.
Yeah.
And whether or not she gets put into a more, a different role or gets let go altogether, who's to say? But I don't think she's going to be in charge of Star Wars for very much longer.
Yeah. Well, it's like, according to Midnight's Edge video, and I think Serenity was trying to debate me on that about what they present, and they've been pretty accurate on what they've speculated. So I know they said in one of their more recent videos that Kathleen Kennedy is all but out the door. That Bob Iger has basically stepped in. He's taken over for Lucasfilms, and he's basically pushed the creative side or creative control over to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Yeah.
They still need somebody to act as the conductor for all the Star Wars properties. They want to make it, a shared universe. Cool, fine, whatever. But they need that person at the top to be the overall conductor of these projects and not get too involved on the individual projects themselves.
Yeah.
So hopefully Bobby Boy will do that, or name somebody who can do that.
Yeah.
I almost flippantly say, put Kevin Smith in that role. Wouldn't be that bad of an idea, but get somebody like that who is a fan, like a Jon Favreau, like a Kevin Smith, who was a fan when they were a kid and who still is a Star Wars fan, who likes the properties, but knows when to step back from the reins and let the team do their job.
Absolutely. And I was thinking of something else too with the new movie coming out or set to release tomorrow. Like, because I was thinking that probably the movie was going to not necessarily flop, but I don't think it was going to be successful or up to Disney standards, that is. But now that we're starting to see this critic score, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
Like, this movie could easily flop.
Yeah, we could.
Or I certainly don't believe that they might not even break even. Because if you think about it, think about all the reshoots, how much that has cost. Because from what I've been hearing about the movie, it's a convoluted mess, and there's been reports of reshoots, and even J.J. Abrams supposedly he came out and said that we just finished doing filming or something like that. So I think that pretty much confirms that there were reshoots. So, and I think that with Doomcock, if he was right about the leaks, I bet you anything he's right about the test screenings.
Yeah.
So, which means that there were several reshoots done, and Lord knows how much money that costs. So, and I'm pretty sure people are probably going to take a look at the critic score and they're going to be like, well, that's it then. That's the deal breaker. I'm not going to go see this movie.
Yeah.
And after this first week, they'll make some money. They'll definitely make some money on the first week sales. But after that, we'll see those statistics just fall.
Oh, it'll drop. It'll drop. Yeah. I mean, if critics are lambasting this, and given that the leaks are most definitely true, especially with Palpatine, that's going to piss off a lot of people.
Old fans and new fans alike. Yep.
I mean, we're all sitting down, so I could possibly say this. When I went on Metacritic, I clicked. One of the people that gave it an abysmal review was, for those of you in the audience and on the panel, Vox, of all people.
No, I saw
Oh,
that.
jeez.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. I'm like, I had to refresh the page to make sure I was reading what I was reading. I'm like, holy crap.
Well, that reminds me of last night when they mentioned on Twitter that people were now, the show had just premiered in LA, and there were first reactions that were posted. And I saw one from Scott Mendelson. And anybody who doesn't know Scott Mendelson, this guy is like Disney Star Wars #1 fanboy.
They can do no wrong.
Yep. And he came, when I saw his tweet, I was like, oh shit. It's bad when Scott fucking Mendelson can't even come up with a reason to justify this movie.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I mean, hopefully that they can just, Star Wars as a whole, the property can get back up, learn from its mistakes, and just move forward. That's all they can do.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they do that gracefully and not just shelve the property for another 3 decades.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, allegedly, Kathleen Kennedy came out and said that they're no longer doing any more trilogies. But then Bob Iger came out and said, "Oh no, we've still got trilogies planned." So they don't even know what they're doing or what they even want to do at Lucasfilm.
Well, I think what Kennedy was referring to was the Skywalker saga trilogy, like another trilogy after this one. Whereas Bob Iger is probably thinking, well, no, we can do something completely different. We can do separate trilogies that have nothing to do with that main story.
Right.
Which, again, I'm all on board. As long as it's done well, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we just want well-written stories with characters that are well-rounded and that have flaws. I mean, it's, we don't want to be able to, project ourselves onto a blank slate that is the actor or actress that's on the screen. We want to be able to relate to them because there's something about them that reminds them of ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Conflict and turmoil or something. Some hurdles to get past.
Yeah.
Develop.
Absolutely.
Evolve and grow. Yeah. It's not too much to ask for a decent story and decent characters. Nope. All the rest is just the superficial paint you slap on top.
Yep.
Well, and this is what gets me about what the media has been saying about them going after the fans, saying that we're sexist because we don't like Rey. And it's like, no, you don't understand. I wanted to like Rey, and I feel bad for Daisy Ridley because I think she deserved better than what was written for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like it was yesterday. I did a thread responding to one of Mendelssohn's tweets on Twitter. I don't know how many people saw that, but yeah, it was an interesting thread. And I know you want to end the stream, but may I?
It's good. You can.
Okay. He tweeted, so hashtag the Rise of Skywalker. In the end, it was Star Wars quote unquote fans that killed hashtag Star Wars. And so here's my thread. Sits down across from the sits down across from the original poster. Let me tell you something, you shilling ass hat. Yeah. It was MSM in conjunction with Disney and Kathleen K that ruined the Star Wars movie franchise. KK took beloved characters and made them look either incompetent, irresponsible, or cowardly, except for Leia, who they turned into a Kryptonian for some reason. It was Disney's KK that hired people to write disjointed fan fiction in order to push a narrative that the Force is female, resulting in the first unkillable, ever blessed, and overpowered Mare Sue on the big screen. The fights were abysmal. The plot was a mess. The story was like peering into the mind of a 4-year-old remembering all the cool stuff they did that day. Then came the fans of the first and the second trilogies. We came with critique. We pointed out the Mare Sue. We even pointed out entire scenes in movies that would not have impacted the overall shitty story if they had been taken out. What happened? You happened. You and the leftists who only care about representation and diversity, placing a priority on both over solid stories, good plots, and character development. You called us misogynists. You called us sexists. You called us every slur you can think of calling us, but we persisted, not to be deterred. Our voices are many, our conviction and love for our favorite franchise is undaunted, untainted, unstained. We will go back to where it all started. We will go back to our novels, episodes 4 through 6, our comics, and we will treat this last trilogy installment like we treated Highlander 2. It never happened. It's retcon. We reject. We will happily smile as we stick our collective middle fingers in the air as the liar known as KK clings to the belief that she had nothing to go on, no canon, no lore, no universe, proving she never gave a rat's ass from the start. So it was not we who ruined Star Wars. It was you, the MSM, and Disney that did. You can take your blanket statement and shove it firmly up your ass. I will supply the lube if you need it.
Oh, that's
well said.
That's
that was a good rant. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, it's funny because I saw those 2 tweets from Scott Mendelson. It's like I saw the first one where he lambasted the Rise of Skywalker. I'm like, holy shit, he's finally. Oh, I think his programming, he's actually starting to become sentient. And then it's like and then I see this tweet, you know, him lambasting the fans again. And I'm like, well, so much for that. I guess like Mr. Smith showed up and decided,
right.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You're going against your programming here.
Mm-hmm. It's just it gets me because this last one I'm gonna see, but not in the theater. I'm probably gonna wind up doing a tweet reaction to it too and turning it into a video, which will go up on BitChute. Thank you, Disney, for blocking everything in all countries. But I'm not gonna give it any money. I'm not gonna go see it in the theaters because it's not. All the leaks have proven to me is. They don't know what they're doing with a beloved franchise. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to tell a story, and they don't know how to wrap it up in a nice, neat little bow.
Yeah.
And the only justification we have to eventually see it when we don't pay for it is just that morbid curiosity of how bad is it, like in actuality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's sad. That's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
For them, not us. For us, fuck, you know.
Well,
I like that morbid curiosity of just how bad is it?
Right.
Well, and even though I've distanced myself from this trilogy, I just think about all those people who, like the normies, who don't really follow social media or have no idea what these plot leaks are.
Mm-hmm.
I just think about, oh God, my heart kind of breaks for them.
Yeah, that's a lot of my friends. Yeah, they all have pre-sale tickets. They're all going tomorrow, and they're just gonna be disappointed.
They have no idea of the shitstorm that they are about to watch.
No,
that's okay because it's just we're gonna have a Game of Thrones final season version 2.0.
Yep.
Thankfully, we have the Mandalorian.
Thank goodness for that. Yep.
I have to find that.
As soon as it's done, I'm going to be doing a recap review, sharing my thoughts and stuff with Elwin when it's over, when it's fully released. Because we've got a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
Every time we turn to one another and want to talk about it, we're just like, hold it. We'll rewatch it right before, and we'll do the stream, and we'll have notes, and we'll be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's so good. Oh, I can't get over how good it is.
So to give kind of my final predictions of what I think is going to happen, I think for starters, I think that once the Backlash because let's face it, I think we're all on the same page that the Backlash is probably going to be even bigger than The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
To where I think it's going to get to where J.J. Abrams is going to come out and throw Rian Johnson under the bus.
Already kind of has, yeah.
He kind of has, but he hasn't like fully come out and said, no, this little turd right here threw a wrench into my plans.
Yeah.
I bet you anything that's what's going to happen.
In more subtle ways, they've already hinted at the fact that they have to redo a lot of things and change a lot of things because it wasn't JJ's vision. But I agree. I think that eventually they'll throw Ruin Johnson under the bus.
Roundhead Johnson under the bus.
Soy Boy Johnson.
Well, it's like, Soy Boy fits because the first time I saw the way he misspelled his own name, I'm like, is that Rianne Johnson? Is that how you're supposed to say that?
I love
Have you heard his laugh?
No.
Yeah. Oh, he's got that.
That's the brown note right there. You might want to get an adult diaper, Maddie, before you Google it. But if you ever do, Oh man, his voice is just ear-shatteringly shrill and horrid.
Oh,
Everything
wow.
that is wrong with everything in one man. Ugh.
He makes oh shit. He makes Rich Evans laugh from RLM sound angelic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh no, but Rich Evans has a funny laugh, so which they kind of look alike. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
thankfully, Rich Evans is nowhere near that
No.
level of soy.
no shit, right? No, I'm just trying to think. So I think that's going to happen. As
Yeah.
far as like box office predictions, I don't even know where to go because it could go either way at this point. If the critic score is at what it is, then there's no telling what the box office is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I
that's
said,
true.
there's already a metric crap ton of pre-sales. So, but I do agree that what you said earlier in that I don't think it's going to do nearly as well as they were hoping,
No.
or that they need to justify a major blockbuster franchise like Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can tell you that I highly doubt it's going to perform well in China because I've heard The Last Jedi did not perform well in China at all.
Yeah.
And it seems like Hollywood has been relying on the Chinese market to bring in the profits for them.
Yeah, they've been kissing Chinese ass for years.
Mm-hmm. But China's not going to give them what they were expecting. So
Their interest in it.
I'm waiting to see the flop that's going to be Mulan over in China with as much as they changed her lore. I'm waiting because I've already seen the trailers. When you have this woman who disguised herself until years after the war as a soldier to hide her femininity so she could fight for her family's honor, and you have her in the movie fighting as a female that is not in any kind of men's armor, I don't think the Chinese are going to like that.
No, they don't. They do not like their social justice narratives.
Mm-mm.
They're bullshit. And
Yeah.
I think that, you know, the sorry to keep going, but the big companies like Disney, like Marvel, what they seem to want to forget. Yes, there's a market over there that is very much untapped, and there's a lot of money behind it. Without your home markets, your North American markets, your UK market, the big three, US, Canada, and the UK, you got nothing.
Yeah.
You can do as well as you fucking want in China. If you flop at home, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
For the future of your property.
Yep. And that's why I'm like trying to think like, is episode 9 going to reach $1 billion?
No.
And again, there's that whole, we don't even know how much money they've spent on this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't release those figures?
As far as I know, they didn't.
Oh, wow.
Because I know I was watching Odin's stream this morning or this afternoon, and he mentioned, or somebody was asking him if the budget was released, and he checked and it wasn't. So it just makes me wonder if that's going to be kept hush hush. Oh, I bet it's going to be a lot.
Yeah,
doubt.
I'm reading it right now. No reported production budget for Rise. Force Awakens was 245 mil. Last Jedi was 317 mil. So
it could
if
be
I had to
double
ballpark,
that.
I would say easily maybe 600.
Mm-hmm.
500-600 mil. Yeah.
So okay, so it's like, so let's say it's 500-600 mil, and I'm wondering how much would it be double for the marketing? Because I'm just trying to wonder how much they would need to make to break even.
To break even, yeah, probably about a bill, because $1 billion, because in comparison to TLJ and TFA, they've been pushing this movie a lot harder. a lot
Oh,
harder.
yeah.
Like you got Star Wars repping kitchen appliances and like, I mean, they've done some weird, marketing before,
saw
even
that.
in the original, but in this one, it's just everywhere. You can't escape it.
I mean,
That's a lot of money.
Here you go, Kathleen saying the Force is female, and now they've partnered to sell ovens. I mean, hello, Fifi. Hi, Miss Feminist. Really? Electric stoves and ovens? Are you trying to say the Force is feminine and needs to be in the kitchen making the Jedi?
Maybe I should check out these Jedi fridges.
No, they had I can't remember which company, but they were selling it was either crock pots or Instapots, and they had one that was like R2, and then I think they had another one that was supposed to be like the same color as I know one was R2D2. I think the other one might have been C3PO, I'm not sure. But I just remembered seeing this and I'm like, what is okay? That's who they're trying to cater to, is the wine moms.
Yeah, of course,
Well, I mean, their marketing strategy seems to be the equivalent of the Homer Simpson makeup gun. Just shoot it and hope something sticks.
Right? Seems that way. Oh my god, I'm brain farting on dude's name. The guy who does the videos looking like the Slender Man in CG. I can't remember his name.
Undoomed?
That's it. Undoomed.
Oh, okay.
I told you I was brain farting because he actually did the one with the ovens on his thing. He actually put the screen cap, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh, nice.
You have got here it is. It says Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker only in theaters. 3 ways to fulfill your destiny: stainless steel, slate, or black slate ovens and stoves.
That's right. It's the no, it's not crock pots. They're like Dutch ovens. One is like in the shape, what's supposed to be the shape of Darth Vader.
Yeah, I shared it in private chat here. If you want to share the screen so everybody can have a laugh.
Okay.
Because, oh my god, I got the biggest laugh out of this. Oh my god. Because he literally did the tagline. This is what Undoomed tweeted: Star Wars, the Force is female. GE, fill your destiny with these stoves.
Follow the light, stainless steel. Join the resistance in slate. Embrace the dark side in black slate.
Right?
Oh, God.
All stoves. Oh, my God.
Hold on a minute.
Delicious.
Here we go. Okay.
Right?
Delicious.
Yeah, the Force is female. Fulfill your destiny with these stoves. Get in that kitchen and make the Jedi Master a sandwich.
Why?
This is not the tuna sub you're looking for.
Necrosol's reply. Excellent. Necrosol, you are a champion.
Oh my god.
I sorry, my brain broke. Oh my god.
It really like, I mean, what else can you say? Shit.
Right?
I thought the Dutch oven, Vader shaped Dutch oven was like, what? Who's gonna know that this is Star Wars?
I have no fucking clue.
Like, they could have at least made one of them like R2's colors, of like the blue.
Put
and
some blue stripes on that white one, yeah.
No shit, right?
Or a Rebel Alliance symbol, like on the middle one and the gray one, right down there on the middle of the drawer. Have a little bit of branding on the product itself. The dark side one, you could have an Imperial symbol, Then I would be, if I was in the market, I'd be like, yeah, I'm geeky enough for one of those.
But my whole thing is this. You have a female as the main character. You have 2 females as supporting characters, okay? They're ovens and stoves that belong in the kitchen, and your tagline to sell these appliances is 3 ways to fulfill your destiny. It's like low key going, bitch, go in the kitchen and make me a sandwich.
Bitch, get in the kitchen and make me some pie. Hashtag the Force is female.
Right?
Jesus Christ. I need to get...
You okay? You okay? Just breathe, Liz. Just breathe. Woosah.
Be serious.
Woosah.
Fulfill your
Center
destiny.
yourself. Center yourself. I know this is brain shattering. Oh my god.
I keep finding things that break my brain on a daily basis. I'm surprised that it still functions at this point. I just don't know anymore.
It's delicious.
When I used to ride before we got the apartment, I was riding with Ronan in his 18-wheeler in the cab, and I was on Twitter and all this stuff, and every once in a while he'd hear me go, and with the and how with the and what's the and he goes, it's time to put the phone down. Go take a break. I looked at him and went, what? He goes, when you can't even say a complete word, I know your brain is turning to put the phone down. Go take a break. Step away from Twitter.
So it's art imitating life, imitating art. Oh, Lordy.
I don't know anymore. I've seen everything.
Oh, no. When you say that, now you're doomed to say something. You see something even dumber. Because as we all know, genius has a cap, but stupidity is infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind having like an R2. Why am I saying this?
The only way that I would not be mad at my husband is if he found a C-3PO or R2-D2 themed vacuum cleaner. That's the only reason I wouldn't be pissed off at him if he got me.
Or a mouse droid Roomba.
Yeah, exactly.
Like listen close, Disney. These are the products that we need. These are your 30s and 40-year-olds who grew up with Star Wars. That's the kind of geeky shit we will run out to buy.
Exactly.
Nobody gives a shit about figures anymore. Like
lightsaber hot dog maker.
Or fulfilling your destiny.
Right. Ooh, okay. So like Hasbro and I can't remember the name of the other company, they've made an interactive R2. Why can't Roomba do that with like an R2 where you have like maybe his third leg drop down, his big middle leg, and that be like the vacuum cleaner part, and he's just wheeling like sucking like God, genius.
Yeah.
R2-D2 sucks just like this trilogy. Sorry. Okay.
See, JC's on board. Mouse droid Roomba. It doesn't have to be one of the main characters. It can just be an element of Star Wars, and that'll make your house, your apartment feel like, you're on an ISD or you're on some backwater moon on Kashyyyk or something. Like just geeky stuff like that.
Mos Eisley beer taps.
Oh hell yeah!
Damn
it. You guys are coming up with better ideas than Disney has with their, like... Of
course, we're the geeks. Do we come up with shit like this? R2-D2 recliners, C-3PO, drink coolers, Mos Eisley.
Jabba the Hutt beanbag chair.
Exactly.
I want a giant size R2 unit or like a life-size R2 unit that has like a tray that can like bring me beer and shit.
Oh, they have those. They have those.
They do?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh shit!
Remote control. It'll cost you a pretty penny to get one.
Oh well,
they have
of
those.
Course.
Tell me this wouldn't sell with Uber geeks. Ready? A pool that's themed like Jabba the Hutt's floating throne room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Or like a gonk droid garbage can.
Right.
I've seen R2-D2 themed ones. Like they'll be like a cylinder and they'll just be painted like R2. I've seen much more expensive ones that are actually like a sort of like a model R2, and you push on the pedal and the top opens up to reveal the garbage. More stuff like that.
Yeah.
Give us stuff like that.
Yeah. Hell.
I think they're a little too focused on the marketing with their toys.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was something we didn't cover. There's a severe demand for Baby Yoda toys.
Yes.
And there's a severe surplus for the trilogy toys. I think it was World Class Bullshitters also covered this, in that like the toys for like Solo Ren and everything, they're like, you know, at MSRP basically, whereas toys for the Mandalorian are going for 4, 5, 6 times the value.
Somebody had released a video they took at one of the Disney warehouses where they were scrapping Star Wars merchandise because it wasn't selling.
All those fucking Rose Tico toys. Yep.
Oh my God. I love Jeff at World Class Bullshitters. I love his videos where he goes to the stores and there's all the Star Wars toys and stuff. Oh,
yeah,
look at all
the little chuckle.
Oh, look at all the Rose Tico action figures. Oh, look, here's another Rose Tico action
They
figure.
don't even make good lightsabers. You have to go to third-party retailers, builders who produce their own lightsabers that are good quality. Like those Force Effects ones, Elman's got a huge collection of them. You can actually, you know, not too hard, but you can duel with them, you can play with them, or you can put them up on your mantle, on your wall, and have them as you know, art. They're good, well-constructed replicas. The ones that you get from like actual licensed Hasbro toys they're garbage. They're so bad.
Wait, so what do you recommend as far as the lightsaber? Because
Force Effects.
Force Effects. Okay.
Force FX. Like
Force
actual
FX.
FX.
Okay.
The letters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fox Xylo or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, there's so many things. I mean, if they really wanted to sell stuff and gear it toward the Karens, because let's face it, they're gearing it toward the Karen. They could have done a Rose teacup tea set.
Rose teacup.
Tea set, yeah. I mean, you know,
and I think that again, Linz, they're not like the super hardcore replicas, so you're not going to pay a couple grand for one. But they're well constructed, well modeled plastic that will probably run you a bit, maybe like
you know what, can I find it? Do they have a website or?
I'm just looking on Amazon right now.
I'm just doing that too. Force FX. Honey, I know what I want my Christmas present to be, maybe.
Well, if I could learn how to type, I'd actually put the O and the R in the right place, wouldn't I, honey?
Yeah, I think the ones that I'm looking at right now, Mace Windu Episode 3, Force FX lightsaber, that's 160 Canadian. That's the one with the metal hilt.
If you're looking for their direct website, try ultrasabers.com.
But the ones that we have are the plastic ones that look just as good. I mean, they're really well done pieces, but they're more so that you can actually, screw around and have, fake fights and play around with them. And, they're toys at the end of the day.
Oh, well. Oh, so Ultra Sabers has build your own lightsabers.
Yeah, but they're Force Effects lightsabers. You can build your own. Yeah, you can tailor it.
Yeah, and again, those ones look like they're metal. So, I mean, it depends on how much you want to invest in each one. But the metal ones are really good. And the thing about them, Ultra Sabers, you can get custom colors too.
Oh, cool.
So they'll have, you will be able to get like purple or orange or yellow or whatever you want.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they'll run you about 200. But they're good. They're really nice. And this is what I mean. Like these, Hasbro, Disney, whatever, whoever they want to use, they could do these sort of collector items and they will sell. High quality, really well produced pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They just choose not to. And I don't understand it. They'd rather put out Rose Tico toys.
They forgot how. Because remember, how many of us that got the original toys as kids are now kicking ourselves because we still don't have the 13-inch Luke Skywalker action figures. How many of us are kicking ourselves because we lost or gave away the throne room set for Jabba the Hutt. I know I am, because I had it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had
You know?
Mos Eisley. I had everything.
I had the 13-inch R2-D2 that you can open his back and switch around his circuit boards.
Nice.
Yeah. You know,
Oh my
No,
god.
Elowen, most of the Force FX ones don't use the glass saber. You generally have to buy that separately at additional cost. They'll always have the ones that you have that are plastic in plastic. So the core, the part that lights up, is plastic, and then it's got a clear outer shell that's harder plastic, but it's clear. So it actually really photographs well. It looks well when you light them up in the dark. They look like as close as you're going to get it as an approximation without going the full glass. But again, that's really expensive, and it's not. I wouldn't suggest it, because unless it's just going to sit on your mantle the entire time, it's very fragile.
You know, and that reminds me, oh my god, I was just thinking back. It was not too long ago where they released, I think it was a poster for for episode 9. And Rose Tico was nowhere on the promos. And of course, these people lost their shit. Like, what did you do to Rose Tico? What happened to Rose Tico? It's like, we want Rose Tico merchandise. And I'm like, bitch, have you been to the freaking stores? She doesn't sell.
Yeah, where were you when they were actually being sold?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, quite literally, nobody bought any of them. Not even you guys.
No.
I mean, she was, in my opinion, a throwaway character. You could have yanked her from the roster and not had her at all, and it wouldn't have affected the movie any one bit.
Nope. Not at all. Well, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. So, would you care to shill anything?
Oh, hang on. Because I just hit 100 subscribers on my little baby
Oh, congrats.
geek channel today, so I'm going to go ahead and put that link into chat. And so, yeah, this is for those of you who don't know yet. This is my news and political stuff. It's all geek. And tomorrow, premiering at 5 p.m. Central, which is 6 p.m. Eastern, is the first episode of Maddie's Noobtastic Zombie Survival Adventure.
Ooh.
7 Days to Die?
Yup.
Nice.
Yeah, I just finished editing it. It's rendering now, so I'm going to set the premiere and show the crap out of it.
Yay.
Congrats on 100. It's good.
Thank you.
Congrats. Excellent.
Because I myself am just starting out. I have a 3-time weekly show, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 5 o'clock Eastern. With Genty Maxi, we just, we talk about the news, current events, funny stories, memes, what have you, from a tilted Canadian perspective, because I'm a Canadian, on Tuesday and Thursday, it's on the Snow Mexicans channel. I don't have the link readily available. And on Saturdays, it's on my channel, Functional.
Okay.
All right, excellent.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, of course. I was happy to have you. I knew you were a Star Wars fan, so I thought, oh, Functional's here. Why don't you hop on, buddy?
It's good because it's the first time we've actually talked shop on stream.
Right, yeah, because I've seen you on with Jen on Bloodwing's channel, or his Redneck Radio show that one time.
Yeah, and I, instead of actually having to watch the dumpster fire that is The Walking Dead, I'll just rather watch your 10-minute video recaps on what's going on with Walking Dead, because I'm just like,
well,
that's another stream entirely.
Well, surprisingly, this current season has actually not been that bad. Of course, it's not going to be the same without a couple of certain characters that are not on the show anymore, but yeah, it's doing okay. And I was thinking I'm probably going to do a video on AMC Networks, because I think I need to praise them, because they as critical as I've been towards them for what's been happening with The Walking Dead, they're not like Lucasfilms. If you know what I mean? Like
yeah. They haven't gone over the edge for sure.
Yeah. So, as far as what I'm going to be doing with my channel, I'm still coming up with ideas. I definitely want to add some more Walking Dead content. It's just with having a day job, kind of makes things a little difficult. So, and eventually I will be getting together a panel to include Maddie and Functional on the, where we cover The Expanse Season 4 as soon as I'm finished with that.
I have to binge. Oh, I get to binge. Yay!
Yeah, I got to episode 2, so I need to, I'm probably going to do that this weekend. So, yeah, stay tuned to my channel to get a date and time on the Expanse stream. So, well, until next time, dear friends, this is Cynical Lindsay, signing off.
Night, guys.
Bye.